Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order, February 25th, 2025. If we'll all stand for the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all.
Take a moment of silence for a silent prayer, please. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Treasurer Roland Lynch,
Here.
President Phil Potter,
Here.
Vice President Dolores Schlicker.
Here.
Secretary Robert Turek here. Director Kelly Von Fittel.
Here.
Member at Large Commissioner Carolyn Brumman.
Here.
Pam McKinnon is absent, not feeling well, so hopefully everybody can say a prayer for her. And I don't know about Leroy. So not present at the present time.
Hey, we need approval of the agenda. We went over it.
We have nothing going on with the audit, so we can remove that. The unfinished business, the audit, we haven't gotten that yet, so
I'll make a motion. We approve the agenda.
Motion by, seconded by Fennel to approve the agenda. All in favor?
as amended.
As amended.
Yeah.
As amended. Approval of minutes from our last meeting on January 28th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of January 28th.
Motion by Schlicker, seconded by Lynch to approve the minutes from our January 28th meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Comment, 2 minutes per person. Please give your name and township. If you would like to say something, stand and let us know. Okay, no comment? What was that, public? We'll go to presentation. Andy Shaw, Construction and Development Manager.
Thank you. How's that normalized? Good. Great. So, starting off, I'm gonna go kind of room by room. So it's each thing's a little different. But in the gym, we've got all the floor down. And so there's multiple layers, and the actual top hardwood is down, and they should be standing that probably today. Actually, the sander is supposed to arrive, and then by the end of next week, we'll have the first 2 coats. It's called a Bona sport coat, and it's just a real brownie epoxy that they put in. So then they'll hold at about the end of next week, and then before we put any stripes on or anything like that, we'll be going back to the hoops. The hoops came in designed to hang off of the interim girths, which really aren't strong enough, and so we had to send the drawings back and have them go beam to beam with big heavy beams, and so that's gonna put a little delay in things, probably a couple 3 weeks. We'll see how it goes, but it took a while to get the engineering drawings from the hoops guys, so they have every detail you can imagine on how the hoop connects up to the building, but we just weren't satisfied with it. So that's that, and then the next step is the hoops will go on, and then once they're all in place and actually down kind of perfectly, then they'll do the lines after that. So, and the hoops will actually, the first step will be the actual hoops, then the lines, then we come back after the lines and then put in the nets for the volleyball and pickleball, so that way it's their actual posts are in their exact right position. So otherwise in the gym, we've got the lights and the painting's done, and that's really going to be the final step. So that's the part of it. And then we'll go to the dining area. We've got all the drywall finished. We're got all the fire suppression finished, and then throughout the entire building, we've energized the fire suppression system, filled it with water. It's got 250 psi pressure in it, and we've passed our preliminary inspections on all that. So the inspector walked through and checked all of our head positions and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of just uniform through the whole building. But in the dining area, the next step will be to start the ceiling. And so we've got a pitched drop in the ceiling, and that'll be next Monday. We've got a specialty crew coming in to do that. And then after that, we'll be going to the floor. So that one's really coming along. The craft room has a floor in, most of the ceiling is in. This weekend, they're gonna be doing final connections on the plates for the computers and what have you. So that's looking done when you look into it. Kitchen, we're just waiting to finish some electrical in the kitchen. And then once that's all finished, we'll be dropping our remaining ceiling tiles, and then we'll actually bring the kitchen equipment in. So a couple, 3 weeks on that. And then in the offices today, we're fully painted. We just got a few little things here and there in the computer room. We had to add some plugs. In Wendy's office, we had to kind of electrifying, but other than a few things like that, we're really finishing up there. We'll be dropping the remaining ceiling tiles. But if you look at the ceiling, the grids in, most of the tiles are in, the lights are in, and the HVAC return supplies are in. So that's coming right along. And then as you go to the game room, same thing, all of our plugs are in, ceiling tiles. We just got rid of the main portion of the ceiling tiles, but all the perimeters are cut in. We had a little ductwork that had kind of run around the perimeter of that, so got that all finished. But that's coming right along. We took a delivery of quite a few items in the game room, pool tables, ping pong, foosball, that kind of stuff. And we're getting ready to assemble that once we're going to kind of assemble it all and then kind of move it off to the side, put the carpet down, and then move it over to the carpet and what have you. So that's all come along. We did a final buy on all the gym equipment, and so that's about half paid for, and we're getting delivery on that towards the end of March. Then in the locker room area, we're just finishing up. There's quite a bit of ductwork in the locker room area between the bathrooms and the showers and the lockers and the lounge. And we've got both the regular duct, which is the supply for the heating and cooling, but then in addition to that, we've got an HRV in both of those. So there's quite a bit of ductwork when you look up, and that's almost finished. So that'll allow us, it's mostly a hard pan ceiling in that area. So getting that done is a real good one for us. And we're making real good progress, like in the shower area. We've got the frame up, the lights in, there's just a little bit more to finish there. So those are coming right along. And then when you go to for the yoga room, looking real good. So it's fully painted. The ceiling is mostly in, ductwork's finished, and the lights are in there. So we're real close, just kind of really room by room. And then the main fitness area, we've still got to finish a little bit of electrical that allow us to finish the rest of the drywall, and then we'll be painting in there. So yeah, just plugging along at each front. Exterior wise, we haven't done anything. We're just waiting for things to warm up a little bit and just driving, finishing the stone. And then in the housing too, we haven't fired up the water. We need to fire up the septic before we can fire up the water in the main building. So it doesn't really get us anything, so it's been holding on that. But we do have a full fire suppression water tank, and that's holding strong, so that's good. So that's about where we are, just plugging along on every front.
Okay,
I have a question on the gym floor. Is it easy to clean? Or is it like the one at the high school where they won't even let you walk out there with your shoes on?
Oh, well, I think you're gonna wanna keep your street shoes off the gym floor is kind of a general rule. But I think it's being easy to clean, it should be. It's just you'll have a real wide mop, and then they have like a foam product, and shouldn't be much to do with dusting on a daily basis.
So if somebody should spill some Pepsi or something, it's fairly easy to clean up.
Yeah, it's very regular before, but you want people with Pepsi in the gym, you know, so if you can avoid it. I know it happens all the time. We were just at a volleyball tournament and I was amazed. It seemed like things got spilled constantly, you know, and so, yeah, it's just a matter of getting on it quickly and wiping it up. And it's gonna have, I think it's 7 layers of sealer on it, so. But you don't want to, you know, you don't want to, it's gonna, if things happen like that, you just wipe them all up, it'll be fine.
Okay,
You don't want, high heeled, little mini heels, probably not the best thing for the floor. Otherwise, it's a good hard to floor if you want to have fun. And the same goes for the whole building, you know, the vinyl, wood looking floor we've had, it's got a 50-year warranty to it, you know, so it's robust. And then the carpet, same thing, the carpet tiles are super high quality, and if something really happened, you just pull up a carpet tile and replace it.
thank you.
I mean, as a rule, you don't want to have people wearing their outside shoes when they come work on the fitness equipment either. I mean, we can't have dirt and water stains all over. So that's what the locker room is for, or you have to bring a pair of gym shoes. You can't wear your outside shoes on the gym equipment, and you shouldn't be walking across the floor, the gym floor, in your outside
Yeah.
shoes either.
That should just be a solid rule that's just established. I know that the gym that I go to, you know, he's really enforces that concept. So you just, and that you see people just develop a habit. You walk in, you change your boots into your regular shoes, and then it's nice too because the gym's fun. You know, as opposed to places that aren't really fastidious and something like that, and it just gets so dirty so fast, you know, and probably less so in the summer, but especially with all the snow and salt that it's going to be a good policy to really put in place and try to enforce that and make it a heck of a lot easier. A gentleman stopped by yesterday to the job site looking to apply for the as a maintenance guy, and he seemed like a really good fellow. You know, he had a good background in building, and hopefully he came and saw Wendy. I sent him this way. So we'll see, but he's had some good skills. I just ended up chatting with him for a little bit, and you know, he understood the importance on a new building of really keeping everything pristine and not letting it go down, then have to fix it up again.
I mean, the gym equipment, people should maintain it with, spray it down and wipe it with a disinfectant also, but it's going to take a specific custodian or maintenance person to occasionally dust things, get a crevice tool and walk and vacuum around, you know, the equipment, because, you know, skin cells, hair cells, you name it, it's going to have to be cleaned quite a bit more than this is right now.
So if the gym people shouldn't be walking in it, does that mean we should not be doing any events in the gym?
I think you just got to balance that. I would do events like all sporting kind of events for sure. If you're looking at like a dance party or having say a wedding in the gym, I wouldn't be my first choice, you know.
But I'm thinking like a sporting event, I'm just gonna throw this out there, like say there was a wrestling match. If parents were there, somebody might have boots like Woody, somebody might have boots like you, somebody might have tennis shoes like Larry. So
Yeah, I think what you see is, I probably should specify the actual court surface versus the perimeter, right? So if you take the main basketball or the two volleyballs, for instance, I think that you would really keep people with regular street shoes off of that surface. But yeah, I think the entire perimeter, it's just kind of assumed you're gonna probably have regular shoes on.
Now, I had a question. There's a third volleyball court that's going to be lined on the pickleball courts. So that could be used for tournaments. So obviously you can't have permanent pickleball nets there.
All the nets for both volleyball and the pickleball are the kind of quick release kind. You just pull it out and then it covers flat. So
They go into the surface.
and first take off the cap, slam it down in there, and it locks in place. And then it's got a little device on the side, just push it in and pull it out, and then put the cap back on. So that's for the volleyball and the pickleball. And then in addition to that, we're getting temporary mats or portable mats for the, so if you wanted to add more pickleball and kind of the, basketball area, you can do that as well.
The temporary pickleball nets, are they the ones that are $100 on Amazon, or are they the one that's the $2,500 that you get from a pickleball
I
supplier?
would say they're in between, I can't remember the exact numbers, but they're supplied by the same guy that does, it's Griffin Sports. And so the same fellow that's given us the volleyball, which are collegiate grade, and the pickleball permanent, semi-permanent, in that they'd be there unless you took them out. They're definitely high quality, so I can't remember the cost, but they sure look good, when you, remember I printed out the package, and it just looked like a party product, snapped into place.
So on the overall project, what percentage do you think we're at right now?
We're 92.
92?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, I just had to look at that yesterday, so, 92% is really, we're kind of really in the home stretch, like. A lot of this is fun time, because things happen fast, so like next Monday, the dining area, the ceiling grid will go in, and the perimeter stuff will go in, and that puts the lights in, and so you're only a few weeks, and then, I was talking to Lucy Cole yesterday, and, she just kind of wants to know when you can give her a particular area, so I'm being real cautious. Right now, we still got sanding, like, with the painting, it flows through the whole building, you can't, unless we put an actual door on, really keep somebody out, it just takes one knucklehead to walk through with dirty shoes, and now we gotta clean the carpet in one area, what happens, so. I told Lucy, she was trying to pin me down on what kind of day to put the floor in, and I said, give me a couple more weeks where we, pin down a date, but we're getting real close, and both our actual vinyl floor, of course, is in the building, and then the carpet is just in the storage house right here. We've got both, products that are ready to go, and we've got the adhesive in the main building as well.
So when do you think the water for the houses will be due?
Well, it's gonna be, weather related, because I really would feel most comfortable. We don't wanna put water into our septic tanks until we've got it all situated, right? Like we've gotta adjust these pumps. There's a certain like spray in the field, and we take off these little caps, and then that's with Dave Schmidt and our engineer Michael, and then this other company. Starts with an M, but anyhow, they'll be out there, and we'll actually fire up the septic system. And I kind of want to be right there, so it could be in the dam. And I watch the field all the time, and it's because of where it's situated. It's melting quickly, so we just need to have access to that field, and then we'll fire up the septic system, and then of course we need the water to fire up the septic system. So we'll kind of just balance the two of them, but. So a little bit of weather related right now. I watch the 10-day all the time, and it seems like the revisions are trending up in heat, right? So as I look at, take March 9th, now it's at 42, so, and it's not freezing. So that'll be, we're gonna wanna wait until we don't really have consistent freezing nights. We can have freezing nights, but it's not, want to see 18s and that kind of thing before we get the water going. We're kind of vulnerable. The biologic material in the septic effluent is what generates heat, right? So it's active, but if it's just water in there, there's no heat getting generated. So we gotta be, we kind of wanna, I'm not in a big hurry just to put regular water into our septic tanks, and probably asking for a little bit of attention.
Okay. I have nothing else. Oh, Carolyn?
And I assume that all individuals who come looking for, interested in possible employment, those are all being referred over to the executive director?
We only had a few looking for employment. We really did on a regular basis. We get a lot of just want to look around, and
Sure.
Most of those people I take care of. We get a few people that want to actually see a tour of the house, but I call the leasing agent, and if she's available, I hand it off to her, but if she's not, I'll take them in. And then we only get a few people looking for jobs. That's it. We've only had a couple. So
Maybe a little early for that,
yeah.
but yeah.
But the fellow that's maintenance guy, I'd be interested to see if if what happens, but he just sure seemed like, kind of had the perfect profile, great background, retired fellow, looking to do something. And, you know, probably 50 years of building construction experience, so we'll see. I didn't read his resume, I just chatted with him.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Will we still be planning on being in there by March 31st?
We'll see, it's all weather related, I'll know better, soon. Yeah, but we'll just, I wouldn't have that as a hard day today.
But on that note, you're in touch with Brad Cole and he knows every day that, okay, if it's gonna be,
Especially, Lucy, you know, she's chat with her more regularly, actually, because she's in charge of scheduling floor installers, but I'm sure that, you know, they communicate stuff. But I'll make sure I talk to Brad this week and we'll see, a lot of it is, our electrician is really spread thin. He's running us a little, but he was such a great deal, not even comparable to anybody else, right? So it's just, we just gotta kind of roll with it best we can, so. But he's hitting it hard and they're top quality work, which is great. You know, we've had Clyde as the inspector and every time he comes out, you know, we have Clyde out almost every week, sometimes it's every other week. He's got so much going on. And he hasn't, you know, he's given us approval every single time. So he's always happy with the work. So it's just like anything. I wish that stuff would go faster, you know, me more than anybody else probably.
well, you know, while you're here, I hate to keep you any longer than we have to, but you know, we're gonna go over hours and fees and such like that today. Do you want to make any comments on?
Yeah. I think for initially on hours, it sure seems fine, 6 to 10. I think I've noticed in the winter time a radical midweek reduction in traffic, right? So it seems like at 5:30 it just turns right off. So I think these are great starting points, and you know, this scene, I think the only thing is it should be seasonal. So it just seems like in the summertime, there's a lot more traffic, a lot later and even earlier for that matter. And so I don't know what the population of the county does as far as people that, you know, go out of town, but it sure seems like, you know, if you could be God and know the numbers, my guess would be there's 3 times as many people in Alcona County in the summertime as there is in the middle, especially right now. You've got your people like the equivalents that leave January 1st, they're not coming back till June 1st, you know, so you see that kind of decline through the fall, and then the increase, you know, kind of especially when you hit that May, June neighborhood. So I just think that hour-wise, I would totally fine to start here. I would just be ready to adjust. I mean, you see it with the hardware store, and a lot of different businesses have their summer and winter hours, and I think you're probably looking at that. The promotional rates, can't go wrong. I think you can go up or down. You know, it's totally within the prerogative of the board and based on whatever they encounter. On your membership costs, it sure seems reasonable to me. I think they're kind of right there as far as I can see. And the only thing I would throw out is that, especially for the Alcona seniors, is special accommodations for someone that just can't afford it, you know.
Correct.
So if you just don't have the money and you're an Alcona senior, I'd be inclined to give them a special membership. Then on the length of memberships, I know like most gyms I've been part of, you sign up and then it's just an auto renewal month to month. And so I was telling them, like, once you get someone's credit card and you got their data, you know, like I know for me it's auto pay, and I get just a little grumpy every time I see the monthly number, you know, on my credit card, but not enough to do anything about it. You know, I think, well, you know, I just keep going. So hopefully, I think once you don't want to have to be messing around with your moves. You know, you just get someone set up. That's the amount. If you're going to have a change in price, you'll mention it, and they can have the option of putting that. I think the whole game is once you get someone in the door, got their credit card, you just want auto renewal, you know, in perpetuity until you know, that either party could cancel. It's just that I wouldn't be specifying a 1 month thing or a 6 month or a 12 month. It's like, we get you signed up, you pay monthly, and unless either one of us change it, it goes on forever. That's definitely the situation. And then, membership requirements, totally fine. I want to make sure you know, I'd contact information, email and phone number, of course. And then on the daily use pass, I think it sounds good. Just seemed just a teeny bit high. I'd probably be more on the $5 to $6 idea, but just seeing that can get adjusted. You definitely want to, you know, I would probably let someone be free. Like if someone, a lot of places you go to the gym and if you're considering a sign up, they just let you work out, you know, at least one time. And then, but they're gonna try to sign you up when you're done. So you have to just see, you know, if that becomes a thing. If you got a good membership person and you're like, hey, try it out. Let me know how you like it. If you do, we'll sign you up. And if you don't, well, you don't. But so that's it on the daily passes. Kids policy, definitely like it. Under 12, mandatory guardians, and then 12 to 16, you kind of kids in the place, and then as you get older, same thing. I like all the idea of the fraudulent use of the membership. I think you're gonna, you know, hopefully you have like 98, 99% good people, you know, and a couple knuckleheads here and there you gotta deal with. But something that I agree on the bungalow. I don't think that should get you a special preference. I like the idea of the ACC employees getting 50% off. That sounds like a fair deal. And then say on the classes, I think it's good to point out that whoever, you know, I know there's a lot of instructors that'll, you know, pay the ACCOA, whatever, you know, $20 for a room for an hour, and then they can bring in whatever, you know, 10, 15 people, they're paying for the class. And I think that should be, I remember somewhere where that was run through the ACC, if you run through the building owner. So, you know, let's say, you know, instructor A is going to be charged, let's pick a number, $50 for the room. And then they brought in, which people pay the actual money to the ACCOA because they could charge it on their and your membership, right? It was an easy deal. And so let's say they brought in $200. So then the ACCOA would issue a check to this instructor for $150, right? The gross minus the cost. And that way you keep, it's one, way more convenient for whoever's doing the class if they're already a member. And then two, you're keeping better control of the whole thing. Because otherwise it starts getting crazy and you start getting somebody come in that's kind of doing personal training, for instance. And they're kind of doing it off the books, you know, they're just meeting their client there, and the ACCO is kind of wiped out, you know, not part of the thing. And so it seems like when you've got all the money going to the building owner, and then the building owner is cutting the check to whomever, it's just got more control. So that's that. And then, yeah, on the bulk purchases, you know, anytime you get the school, accounting, the health, Alcona Health, any local shop that's doing steel or whatever they might be doing, I would totally encourage that, because I think that's where you're going to end up really good at it, right? Hopefully, you know, there's 100 people getting signed up, maybe a quarter to half come, but you're getting a reduced rate on the entire 100, you know. So I think, and then it could turn into more, you know, if you could get the family, you could get the kids, and so yeah, the more the merrier. I mean, and again, I think I just am believing that you're going to have a spurt where it's going to get a little crazy, and then it's going to taper back down. So I've always seen in whatever it is that, you know, not to get too crazy when everything gets crazy initially, and then as that what tapers down to more of a normal situation. What's that? I take on it.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
You turn your microphone on. I did. What was the question?
Is Kim online? Does she have anything from them? I don't think we have anything.
I am here, Wendy, and I do not have anything to report.
Okay, thank you, Kim.
Thank you.
Carolyn, you're on the board.
Good morning. Yes, thank you. Good morning, thank you. I'm going to be passing out, or will hand out to you, a flyer on a free e-waste, electronic waste, cycling day, April 26th. Please feel free to take more than one. You can post one in your church, in your wherever, side of your car if you want to. But it is an opportunity for you to get rid of TVs, just all kinds of electronic things, and the list is on the paper of what can be. If you have questions, there is a phone number there that you can call Bill Thompson and get information. The Narcan, I think I shared with you last fall, we had a presentation done by a gal from Catholic Human Services on the use of Narcan. We're going to be doing another one late in April. I do not have that date confirmed yet, but it will be late in April. And we also don't have the location confirmed yet because we're waiting on the gal who's on Donna's schedule to know for sure that it's going to work for her. Narcan is a drug that can be used. It is a nasal drug that can be used if you believe someone is overdosed on opioids or that type of a thing. Interestingly enough, and when I first learned this, it was like, really? If you spill your medication that it has controlled substance in it, and you don't know how many you had, and you don't know how many you've picked up already, you can, and you have a dog that loves to scarf off of the floor, you can give this to a dog. You can give it to a young child. If a baby has, or a youngster, a toddler has picked up all your pills and put them in their mouth. It can be used if there are the appropriate signs and so on. This will be an opportunity to learn about this drug. They truly are recommending that you carry at least one kit in your car. They are free. They do sell them at places, but you don't need to. They are free. There is a supply of them at the north end of the county building. There is a supply at the health department and other places around. But anyway, that will be coming up. There's an election day for the Alcona schools in May. That will be obviously coming up. And the rest, pretty much routine things going on at the county.
This might be a very good thing for the ACCOA.
That's what I was thinking.
It might be right about that perfect timing too. I have a feeling it'll be closer to the end of April rather than the end of March that we'll be doing things.
Hey, Carol?
That's
Thank
it,
you.
unless there's questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Carolyn? Okay. We're on the executive director's report. Wendy.
It kind of a spin-off of Carolyn's. We are doing on April 15th, the meditation, take that day here. Either here or in the other building, depending where we're at. For the budget, Patty's working on getting GL set up for the Sunrise side. She's just trying to figure out how deep we want to go into separating everything. So that's something that we'll have to discuss. We do have a position posted for groundskeeper maintenance, I have a DCW position posted from, a full-time employee that we lost back in December. For our meals, we've served 2,719 meals in January, and 333 of them were congregate. As of right now, we have 14 people on our waiting list for in-home services. And then on February 13th, we had a NESCA audit for in-home service, and the audit went really well. Once we get the assessment back, I'll share that with the board. We have been approved to increase the cost of our meal, so starting March 1st. Our suggested donation for 60 and over will be $4.50, and the cost for 59 and under will be $8 per meal. And then we had a small craft fair here on Saturday, February 15th. And the weather was bad, so we didn't have a lot of traffic, but I believe Megan already has a list of people that were on a waiting list because we didn't have the room and that want to come back, and she has over 25 people on there. So, and I did stop in that day and made my rounds, and everybody would love to do another one, so it turned out really well. And then the kitchen, we've been doing the homemade breads, and I am getting a lot of feedback that clients are loving the homemade breads. And we've been making like extra 10 loaves a week and selling them for $4 a loaf, and they're going like crazy. So we are making like $40 a week just on selling loaves of bread. I believe there's some left down there, Carolyn.
Are you doing different kinds or just white or?
Right now, we're just doing white.
Okay.
Yep, and then I've been working with Andy about purchasing an actual bread slicer, because they're using electric knives right now to cut a lot of bread.
Yeah, slicer makes it a lot easier.
What day are you making them? Or do you do it multiple days?
Well, it takes time, they get it out, then it has to rise usually for the day, and then I believe they pull it out on Wednesday. And then bake it on Thursday. And cause we send it out on Monday with we send half a loaf out on Mondays for the week. For the clients.
Just out of curiosity, do they pull it the night before to so it'll raise faster the next day? Cause they can do that.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing,
Okay.
yep.
Do you think it would pay to pull it out of the freezer on Monday night? Let it raise and bake it on Tuesday, that way it'd be fresher for the people to buy it? Because otherwise, if you bake it on Thursday, the bread is sitting there until Monday.
I'm not exactly sure about the stuff that we serve, like that we're selling, if it's made the same day.
Yeah,
I'll have to ask them, cause there's a lot of bread. I don't know that they get it all baked in one day, cause they're baking 50 or 60 loaves of bread,
right.
so.
It might work, yeah.
That's pretty much all I have.
You did say that you've been in contact with a couple people about the bus.
Yes, yep, I've been talking with a couple of people that are interested in the bus, so.
And I think this should be a good time to thank our president, Phil Potter, for doing a few things around the building that he saved our bacon on a couple things.
Good. Thank you so much, Phil, for freezing your buns off.
It was cold. And I didn't,
day of the year the fan goes off.
It was cold, I gotta admit, took me a while to get the chill out, but it was, I didn't wanna wait the 2 or 3 or 4 days, what it would have took the guy to come out and fix it, if he could even have fixed it, he said. So
Bill made it
I
work.
made it work, and everything's going, knock on wood,
Yes,
going good, so hopefully it continues.
The fans
Yep,
in the kitchen?
yep,
Oh, they went down, did they?
yeah, they went down on Wednesday, and they couldn't get out till Thursday, and then they were gonna have to repair, order it. So I looked at it and said, I can do that, let's call Clean Electric, and I called them, and everything went perfect, and I went up and got it, put it on, and they said it's actually quieter now than it ever was, so.
Of
It will
course.
always break on the coldest or the rainiest day. I
Always,
promise.
or a blizzard.
Yeah.
always, when I ran the garbage out, the truck would break down when it was the nastiest day of the year. And you'd have to crawl under it, so.
Or the hottest.
So
Yeah.
I would say he saved us hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Strictly
Very good.
speaking.
Thank you, Phil.
Right. Treasurer's report? Looking funds? No. Oh, yeah. Looking funds. $310,160 to the 21 cents. Savings. $601. $422.70. New building funds. $1,779,103.62. Received. In 7/24/24. So. 2025. So, Secretary's report subject to audit, that's right.
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's report, subject to audit
As printed,
as printed.
Second.
motion by Slicker, seconded by Von Fennel to accept the treasurer's report, subject to audit as printed. Roll call, please.
Lynch,
Yes.
Potter,
Yes.
Schlicker,
Yes.
Turek, yes. Von Fittel.
Yes.
I have a question on that. Is there gonna be enough money left to finish the building and get everything done? Cause
Well.
this is 11 million, right?
Mhm.
And we only got 12 million to begin with, so we got,
12.5.
okay,
Plus all the interest that we've
Right,
made,
right.
all the money we've made off of that. So
so you think there's gonna be enough money to wrap everything up? Okay.
Secretary's report.
I have nothing that can't be handled into other than the new business. So
Okay. Committee report.
also in the new business.
All in new business, okay. Unfinished business is Stevenson. We haven't received it back yet, correct? New business. Sunrise Center fees. So,
I can take some of that. The final 2 pages in your board book. The first one says recommendations to the board.
mhm,
What that is is that four of us got together, myself as a representative of the finance committee, Phil as a representative of the new building project committee, Patty, who was representing Wendy, who happened to be out of town, taking that viewpoint in, and then Carolyn with all her vast years of experience. We got together and we took all the other pages that are in front here and we went over them. And I had made some recommendations on prices and hours based upon the research I had done. Phil made some recommendations. The employees did some brainstorming. Wendy and Patty called around to other rec centers and such. And so we took all that. Patty made up a list of the expenses that we expect that we've paid previously in this building, which is 12,000 square foot. And we're going to apply that same, basically that same fee, 12,000 square foot over in the new place will be essentially the equivalent. So we figured out what more prices, what more fees we're going to have for the other portion, the remaining 2/3 or 3/4 of the building. We put all that together and we came up with the recommendations to the board. And these are just recommendations that we can talk about. And the first one would be the hours. Andy kind of addressed that these could be changed during off seasons. And everything can be changed depending on if we have available staffing and how much staff is necessary. You know, a lot of people I talk to, we don't need to have somebody there every single hour, possibly that the gym and center is open, but a certain number of hours for sure you're going to want to have people there to sign people up for memberships and help them use equipment and such. So the initial recommendation of the four of us was Monday through Saturday, hours 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., but that also could be 9 p.m. That could be 8 p.m. during the winter hours. So that's a guideline. And on a Sunday, 12 to 8 p.m. or 1 to 9 p.m. or, you know, all of that it can be adjusted. But that was, if we needed to put something down, hey, look, here's what we're going to start with. This would be the recommendations. So if anybody wants to talk about that, and we can, before we move on to other things.
Yeah, the thing I have is Monday through Saturday, 6 to 10 or 6 to 9, and Sunday noon to 8 or 1 to 9. This is something that we can stop. And then once we get going, leave it to the opinion of the director. If nobody's coming in from 7, 8, 9, and 10, then we don't need it open until 10. And we could post it that there will be changes. Like you said, this is just a guideline, but we're on a road that we've never been down, and there's going to be changes. And I think we should leave that up to, I don't think the board has to call a special meeting every time we want to change something. I think we can leave that up to the discretion of the executive director, along with maybe the fitness manager. If she hires a fitness manager and she said, you know, I'm pretty much dead in the water, nobody's coming in. Yeah, she's going to be required to possibly do other chores on her job description, but that could be changed to like 6 to 6 if we have to, you know, depends on the crowd we have, I think. But this would be a guideline. I like the idea of going 6 to 10 or 6 to 9, because during the week, people got to work. So they come in at 7 o'clock and we're out till 8. There might not be anybody at 9, so we'll cut it back to, you know, 8 or 8:30, whatever we have to do, you know. Yes, Carolyn?
I think as a general outlook on things, it's always easier to expand. So if, for instance, you did the 6 to 9 and people were still wanting to spend a little more time at 9 o'clock, fine, we move it to 10. But if you have it at 10 and you only have 1 or 2 people even that are using it from that 9 to 10, it's going to be harder to move it back to 9 than it would be to move it up to 10, is my personal outlook on this.
I don't want to interrupt, but I know Kelly has to leave shortly. Is there anything on these two sheets that you want to talk about right now? I mean, we can move around on this. I mean, I want to make sure you have your time to,
The only thing that I have noticed under number 5, the membership requirements, is there going to be a waiver of liability, health form or something that they sign that's mandatory?
correct.
Yeah, they have to sign 1 year for to use the gym,
Okay,
so I will probably kind of need to tweak it a little bit. And I had talked, last week to Dan O'Connor, he's like, they have certain rules in their gym
Mhm.
that they can use. And if there's gonna be kids coming and going, I kind of like to stick to like the same rules so that they're not like, well, we can do this at the school, but we can't do it here, or go back and say to him, well, we can do this at the, Sunrise Center, but why can't we? So I kind of want to do that a little bit, and then I do want to work a little bit with our insurance company, just to make sure that waiver that we have now is correct, or if they think we need to tweak it at all or anything.
okay, that's fine. As
And
long
I,
as there's
and I
only
came
one.
across a website for a township, Macomb Township, that has, they have everything so much more in detail. That we would be able to basically steal, borrow and appropriate all their documents and tailor them to us. But the other health centers have gone to all the details on that we can just kind of transfer over to us.
As long as, because I know that, they have to work out at their own risk or whatever. I just get concerned about that and our side of it. And that's all that I had for my questions.
So the fees and the different things that we put down look good to you?
Yes, they do. I was with Andy with, the maybe not having the $7 range. I was thinking the $5 range as well. Because it would be easy to hand my kids $10 in the morning, if they wanted to come out after school or whatever. It's just easier that way. But, yeah, those are the only things that I had any questions about. Everything else looked fine to me. I am agreeable with the rest of this. And he might be onto something about seasonal. Wendy will know better though, once we get running.
Okay.
So the number 2 was a promotional membership rate. If you sign up within the first 30 days or 45 days or 60 days, that you can lock this price in. But we thought that we wouldn't want to have people lock that in for more than 6 months, because that would give us time to evaluate to see if we need to raise rates, if we're good, so we would not want to lock somebody at a promotional cost, a rate for the next, okay, you're good for 20 years. No, or even 1 year. The shorter, it gives us more flexibility.
A year, 1 year, since we're offering 1 year rates. Like, that might be a good incentive, is a 1 year promotional rate, kind of like our houses.
Well, here's what I did, and where it's a little confusing when I drew this up. Number 3, the promotional membership costs, where we list these price, I broke it down to what it would be in a year, but that doesn't mean we need to do it for a year.
Right.
So let's go over this so that everybody can hear on the base. Most expensive membership would be an out-of-county family membership. That's 3 or more people. That would be $40 a month. That's number 6. Number 5, Alcona residents family membership. That's 3 or more. That's $35 a month. Out-of-county non-seniors, $30 a month. Out-of-county seniors, $25 a month. Alcona non-seniors, $20 a month. And Alcona seniors at our cheapest rate, which is $15 a month. So I know personally that out-of-county family membership rate is about half of what we know people are paying to go work out at a gym in Oscoda right now. Alcona family, if you've got 3 or more people, you're paying almost $80 to work at a gym in Alcona, in Oscoda. We'd be charging about half of that. So all these costs are considerably lower than all of the estimates that Wendy and Patty had gotten when they went around to surrounding gyms. And in case when you go through this paperwork, there's some figures from Tawas Community Center, but keep in mind that are low, but Tawas Community Center gets $173,000 from their budget. So we're not going to get that. We have zero money. All the money we get from the millage fund is going to run the senior portion of that, none of this portion. So we get no funding. So that's why they're low. And even then, we're not that much more expensive than them. So, but the question was, if the board considered this a valid promotional membership that we would be offering people to sign up the next 30 or 45 days, or do they think this would be our membership that if we give a promotional, it would be even cheaper than this? Do we knock prices off of this for the first 30, 45 days? Or is this the price that if you sign up the next 30, 40 days, this is what you get?
We have to make sure that the promotional part of it is a promotion. 2 months down the road, somebody can say that, hey, I'm gonna sign up for the year, they get them for what, the 180. And they're like, well, what kind of a promotion did we get early? Do we wanna give them a percentage? Because if they miss, thank you, have a great day. If we miss the promotional period, do we up that 180? Or do we leave it there? And if it is a promotion, do we give them 20% off?
So how do you guys feel about these prices as being the promotional cost? Or do you think for the first 36, 60 days, whatever, that we give people a break off of these prices, even cheaper than this? So, how do you see this? For instance, the Alcona seniors, if they paid $15 a month, that works out to about 50 cents a day to come in and use the fitness center, the locker room, the game room, the gymnasium, whatever. That's about 50 cents a day. And the highest rate, was out of county non-seniors, a single person, about $1 a day. That they were paying $30 a month. That's about $1 a day.
All this stuff out, like when people are due, or is this something we're going to be doing? I mean, I've heard both, so I'm not really sure how. Like if you came in and said, I want a membership, is there gonna be like a program that we enter all your information in, it spits you out your badge, or are we just going to be keeping a spreadsheet? The current paid for 1 year, a year down the road, we reach out to you and see if you wanna renew it, or, cause this could be a lot if everything has to be done manual.
And we had the potential to make 12 categories. This is 6 categories. So, no, I'm sure there's going to be some kind of software involved with making the key cards and such like that. Now, but as far as somebody filling out their paperwork, when they have to fill out their proof of residency and their age and such like that, then it might be up for somebody who's signing them up to manually say, okay, well, you're an out-of-county non-senior. All right, you pay this. So somehow the information is going to have to be, somebody is going to have to decide what their rate is. And I don't know if a computer program will do that. If they put in their information, that they would know. I would think somebody manually is going to say, okay, you're an out-of-county family. Here's what your rate is. But how this whole key card thing is going to work. Some of these health centers have fingerprint. So there, it can possibility of having fraud, like where I signed up for a membership, but I let Dolores use my key card. That couldn't happen because you have a fingerprint. Now, we also, as Phil said, look, we're gonna have surveillance. We're gonna have people walk in the door. We're gonna be able to see a video who they are. So if Dolores tries to use my key card that I signed up, somebody's gonna see that's not kosher. We have to somewhere, we're gonna have to have it known, and this is on the second page. Any fraud, you risk your whole membership being terminated.
Membership, this is one thing that I thought about, like, you know, say Phil has a membership, but Amy doesn't. Well, Phil's like, come on, Amy, I can get you in there for a couple of days, but you're here for the weekend, we'll just scan my card, you slide in behind me. I mean, that's why I feel like we're gonna probably need somebody there at first too, just to make sure that kind of stuff isn't happening. Because there could be, you know, I mean, there could be a senior in high school that decides, hey, I got a membership, but these other kids don't, so we're gonna go work out for football practice, I can get all 5 of you in there. I mean, how are we gonna stop that unless we literally have somebody there to be monitoring that kind of stuff?
You'll have surveillance. And let me tell you, I was a kid and I was no angel. And if I had a membership that said, if you pull anything, you're canceled, you're out, I wouldn't have pulled it. So if we make it strong enough to know you zero tolerance, you try to sneak somebody in behind you, you're risking your whole membership.
I have a question on how this is all getting paid for. Because let's say Wendy's working today and 3 o'clock this afternoon, couple 16-year-old kids come in and says, I want to get a membership, you know, for the gym. Well, she's on millage money because she's on senior money. Can she take her time to do this for 16-year-old kids to use the gym? I mean, if she's getting paid with millage money, doesn't that have to be kept separate from these kids using the gym?
There, whatever,
How we're going to figure out employees that may be split doing different things. I mean, they may have to manually keep a time sheet and write, you know, I'll just use Cindy for an example. She's the in-home service coordinator. She works for ACCOA. She comes to me and says, I'm kind of slow today. I don't have a lot to do. Do you need help with something? And I say, yeah, we need somebody to go in and clean the locker room, do this, this, and this. So she might need to say, you know, I spent 2 hours on the Sunrise side today instead. So we're gonna have to keep track of some of that stuff.
I think it's going to be a lot of paperwork.
but any staff member that's hired specifically to run that portion
Right.
will be paid out of the proceeds of the
Right.
membership and the bungalow income and such like that. So you're exactly right. But that's what the 4 of us took when Patty drew up how much expenses were. Then we figured how much would be salaries that we would have to pay for a fitness center or the maintenance person to handle that portion of the project. And that's what we factored into. But there's no way we know for sure how many memberships we're going to sell. So all of this, as Phil says,
It's up in the air.
we're going to have to be adapting. Maybe we'll sell twice as many memberships as we think. I don't know. But you have to have a start. And what this page is, this is a start.
So many things that we're not gonna know till we start doing it, just like Katie's trying to figure out, like, like rentals, do we wanna have just a pot for anything that we rent, you know, like whether it's the congregate area, the craft room, the conference room, or do we wanna have a pot and have every single room broke down? I mean, there's just so many things that are up in the air right now, you know, cause we don't know, we've never done it before, and I'm sure there's gonna be things we do that we're like, this is great, and I'm sure there's gonna be things we do that we're like, oh gosh, this is not working out at all, we have to change this or revamp it or something.
Carolyn?
I'd like to, my position on this, I think that these are fine for promotional. I think the promotional should only run 30 days from the day of our opening or whatever day we pick. Then all except for number one should be raised the 31st day, unless you bought a 6 months during the promotional. That 31st day, all of these, except for number one, should be raised by $5. Now, one of the things that came out in our discussions was at the end of a year, if, please God, if we are really doing well, and we've talked about the need for a reserve fund. If we are on the path of having a good reserve fund, things are going smoothly, we're staffed adequately. People love to have you discount. And we could have a promotional again in our 13th month that we drop back to our original prices. If at the end of the 12th month, everything looks really hunky-dory, then for that 13th month, an anniversary type of thing, we could drop back to these prices for 1 month and then go back $5 higher, except for the Alcona Senior. People love to have you discount something, but you don't discount it until you've got the money in the bank and you're comfortably.
And that might help people want to pay for a year membership right off the bat too, knowing if I pay the year membership within 30 days, I'm gonna get, you know, this price.
Well, I think that somewhere in here, it talked about, the 12 months is the next item down, number 4. The 12 months isn't available at this time, but you could do for 6 months. And who knows, maybe at 6 months, we're going to be able to say we can keep that same price. People love to have you reduce the price. How many sales have you gone to where they raise the price? 0.
We could actually make the 12-month available too at a promotional price. I mean, it's.
Make what?
The 12-month promotional price, this is not available at this time, but we could make that, you sign up for a year at the promotional cost.
Can we afford that?
Depends on how sharp the curve is. We're driving down that road, we don't know.
That's true, we don't know, but again, I go back to the position that it's much easier to stabilize and get that money in the bank and then drop it than to sweat or worry about not being able to meet bills in the 10th, 11th month.
I would like to see it go to 45 days for the promotional due to the fact that you have snowbirds that are just getting back. If we open in April and people aren't coming back until June, the end of May,
That's their problem.
they're gonna miss.
I'm sorry.
I think we need to accommodate the people that are out of town to give them a chance to.
I don't come back until July. Are you going to let me in July, or are you going to let me do a 6 month at the promotional price? Or
That would be your 65 day,
I've got shoulder surgery and I can't do anything until July. So are you going to let me wait?
no, you've been in town. You could have signed up, even though.
But I couldn't use it.
Somebody could sign you up if you had toe surgery.
But I couldn't have used it. Right, and if you can't use it, why pay for it
Cause you're saving money down the road.
until you can use it?
Well, then they have to pay more money.
I
30 days, you think, the board? It's up to the board.
I support the 30 days.
Mhm.
I think you can do both. I think you can say 30 days and then at the end of 30 days, we're extending it out for another 15. How lucky are you? You know, and I have a feeling it's not going to go as smoothly day 1, 2, or, you know, whatever. There's going to be a learning curve. So I have a feeling that it will be more closer to 45, but I don't have a problem saying, you know, 30 days, get in here and get signed up.
I'm okay with that. We can always, on a promotion, we can always extend the promotion if we have to. You know, we can go 30 days, and if kind of slow, we can go an additional 15. I'm okay with that. Extend the promotion.
Down on number 4, though, I personally, this is just me. I feel like if we locked somebody in 12 months, I think that's too long for me. I would feel more comfortable 6 months being the maximum term at the promotional rate. And that would give us a chance to see what the numbers are 6 months from now. And then if we need to raise, if we're too low on this, then we're not locked in for another 6 months.
One of the things we'll need to take into account at that 6-month point is we're going into the winter season, and some memberships will rise because they can't get outdoors and do things. But a significant number of memberships, I think, will slow down because they don't want to get out in the cold. They're going to Florida, you know, so I think that plays a factor. And not to say we can't do that, but I think as we do it, we need to remember those things that would also have bear upon it.
Well, I mean, I could make a case for making the 12-month also, to making that an option. I mean, I could see it both ways, because you would get somebody to maybe say, well, I don't leave till the next January. Maybe I'll just go ahead and pay the full 12 months rather than just getting 6 months and do without my final 2 months here. I mean, I can see it both ways.
I would like to leave an option on, I'd like to leave it up to the individual who's signing up. If they can afford the 240 or the 420 or whichever one they are, and they want to do it for a year. I mean, that's, because if they do it for 6 months and they say, well, I'm not gonna up it again, you know, we should have the 12-month locked in.
The other thing we could do is to advertise it at 6 months. And if somebody says, can I pay for 12? What can pay?
Good point.
Moving down to number 5, the membership requirements. You have, obviously, if you're getting an Alcona rate, you need to prove your residency. You need to prove that you're here. Driver's license, passport, state ID. We did not make that you have, or if you're paying on a property tax here on a piece of parcel, that automatically gets you proof of residency. You have to have it on the driver's license, passport, or state ID.
Where you live.
Obviously, your proof of age, your contact information. If you're buying a family membership, you list your family members as well as their ages. And that'll come in later because we have on the second page, certain ages need supervision, certain ages don't. And then a fee for a key card. Number 6, people who
in case something were to happen.
That would be under
That
contact
could be-
information, wouldn't
That
it?
could be on like the waiver.
Yeah.
Have them put the an emergency contact.
Number 6, people who just want to pay for the use of a single day. Either they're just in for the weekend or just passing by, or, you know, my daughter and her kids come and they just want to pay for a day pass for that weekend. So there we made it Alcona residents 7, but it sounds like maybe we want to lower that to 5. Maybe that's, some people feel that way. Out of county residents, all ages, $10 for the day. If you have a group pass, meaning you know, you come into town, my daughter comes into town and she's got 3 kids with her, a group pass for $20 rather than charging each one as an individual. So that's the way we could do that. The kid,
Are they, is each individual game gonna, like, if there's a pool table, you gotta put your quarters in to play pool, or?
I don't know that we know yet. I don't know. If that is everything you go in the game room is free, or if you have to pay 25 cents to pay pool or foosball or ping pong. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what he's ordered. You know, I don't know. Are we going to have skee ball machines? Are we going to have pinball machines? I don't know yet. I think it might come down to the budget. So I don't know. The kids policy on number 7. The reference I was using, this Macomb Township, they came up with some of this that they said, look, if you're under age 12, they made it 11, but I changed it to 12. You must be supervised by an adult parent guardian at all times. If you're age 12 to 16, your parent or guardian must be in the building, but not necessarily supervising you. If you're over age 16, no supervision is required. So I have a guideline. I know at least one other health center does this, and that's how they're doing it. You know, do we consider an older brother or sister as able to be the adult guardian supervision? That's up to the board. And then obviously somewhere in the documents when people are signing up that, look, you abuse or misuse property, fraudulent use of a membership key card or breaking any of the rules are grounds for not only immediate removal, but possible cancellation of membership. I mean, I think if we make that strong, we're gonna deal with some fraud and misbehavior right up front. Number 8, and we'll come back to these. I just wanted to read them for everybody if they're listening to the video. Bungalow renters, they don't get any discount. They're paying the same price as everyone else. Now, if they were still paying $1,500 a month rent, maybe, but we've already knocked price off the price of the rentals. So ACCOA employees are given 50% discount from what they would normally pay. So, you know, if we have,
For themselves,
yeah.
The employee.
Not family.
correct.
Memberships do not include costs of any classes. So if you're attending a class, a yoga class or a chair yoga class, you don't have to pay a membership, have a membership or pay a daily pass fee to attend that. The odds are most people are going to be members or they're going to, the odds are, but if they don't, no, if they're,
That's something we talked about too, like, it's probably gonna be easier for them to charge whatever they charge their clients to take the class. We charge that person a fee. You can come in and use our yoga studio, but it's gonna be $50 an hour or $30 an hour, or whatever we decide. Then we only have to worry about the rental fee, not every person that might not be a member, might be a member and whatnot.
Right.
The instructor charges her fee to them and then.
And they can
we
take the
charge-
class whether or not they are a member.
Right, and we charge a rental fee for them to use a room.
Number 11, any discounts given for bulk memberships. Let's say it's the county employees or the Alcona Health Center employees or Alcona Community School employees. We have to decide if we want to give a discount for bulk memberships. And then kind of the same thing on number 12, and rental use of the facilities. Like if somebody wants to rent the game room for a party or the dining room for the weddings or fundraisers, we have to decide what we're going to pay or charge them. Now, Wendy and Patty went over like we know Mankato Township, they charge $375 for the rental of their hall plus $100 cleaning fee that are refundable. So obviously we would be doing that also. I mean, if you don't leave it in the state that you found it, you're not going to get your deposit. But how much we want to charge for, the dining room rental, that we're going to have to come up with that. The committee or the group of people, we didn't settle on that.
On that issue, I'd like to double check with like the Aplex and see what they charge. And double check with Mankato, double check with Alcona Township Hall and see what they know. You have to look at, the only one that would be comparable would be the Aplex because of the facility. Sure, the Alcona Township Hall is nice, but it's not the senior center. I would like to, discuss that at our next, come up with prices and maybe adopt that at our next meeting, because I don't think we're gonna have anybody renting it before we open.
Well, I'll give everybody an idea. I had a group approach me and I showed them the facility, and they had rented last year for their fundraiser at another place. And they charged them just per person, how many people who came, and it ended up, they gave the place less than $100. Does this board think we would rent out our dining room for a whole day of Saturday for $100? I mean, I think we can at least be able to tell them that, is that a possibility or is that not gonna happen?
Well, we rented for that little craft fair by the table. And they were these tables for $15 a table, and that was cheap from what I've heard from other craft fairs and stuff, but we had never done it or hadn't done it probably in years, but so, I mean, yeah. We
I-
made more than $100 off of the tables that we rented.
I think one overriding thing we're gonna have to make people know is that all the money that they're paying for memberships or rentals, it's staying right here in Alcona County. It's going to run this facility. It's not going to pay for some CEO to have a condo in the Cayman Islands. It's all staying right here. So it's kind of like your own forced donation to make sure that we can keep this thing running for 50 years, because we can't do what we did here where we haven't been setting aside any money for maintenance. When we get in that new place, we have to set aside money every year to replace a roof 20 years from now, to replace the bungalow roofs 20 years from now. We have to factor all that in. But the money is staying right here. I mean, when somebody pays a membership, every single dollar is staying right here in Alcona County, either to pay staff or to pay for the upkeep of the facility.
I have a question on for the weddings. If they're held in our dining area, they only hold 120 people, am I right?
It is not for certain because the space requirement, the occupancy levels depend on all the space that it includes, not just the dining room. Does it include the craft room? Does it include the entry hall? Does it include the conference room? Does it include the front entrance? So if you lump all that together, which you might be able to do, it might be 170 people. So it's not clear on what that is.
Who determines that? Fire marshal. The fire
Mm-hmm,
of Alcona
fire marshal.
from Lincoln, the
Fire
marshal of
It would be
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Okay, now if he says, no, you can only have 120 people in that dining area. Can our wedding party use one of the gymnasiums where they hold a lot more people?
If they have rented it out for that purpose, yes, but the beauty of this design is that there can be a wedding going on and be using that section of the building while everybody else is still using the fitness center. The rest of the community is still using the fitness center, is still using the gym. So that's the beauty of how this is. Now, if somebody wants to rent the entire gym, I don't know that the capacity is that much more, if I recall right, than the dining room. But they
Well-
could do that, but we lose. Meanwhile, if there's a wedding being held in the gym, nobody else can use it.
Right, but they're also maybe gonna pay more. So we might not be losing anyway.
We
We'll
could
see,
do
yeah.
a Prom in the gym and a wedding in the congregate area at the same time.
But if you can only have 120 people, there's not very many weddings that's gonna hold their population to 120. So I'm afraid we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose weddings.
Well, I mean, and
We've
I,
already lost two that I know of.
well, I don't know how we would lose somebody if they don't even know, we don't even know our capacity. So how would we have lost somebody?
Well, they were told 120, if I'm not mistaken, right? Judy works for the one that was gonna have a wedding, and they were told 120. She
Yeah.
says,
The
there's
one
no
party
way.
That talked to me also said they only had, till Monday, that they talked to me on a Friday night and they said, we have to at least have our reservation in the Aplex by Monday, so we can't. And I told them right up front, I would not want to rent the hall to you, the gym to you, without knowing what the sound system's gonna be like. Because the last thing you wanna do is have a wedding and the music and not have it acceptable. And they come back and say, we want our money back. We couldn't even hear the music. There was so much echo. So before we rent anything out to the wedding parties, graduation part, anything, I would really like to be in the building, know what the ecosystem is and the sound system is, and know how it's gonna sound before. I don't want people to come back and say, you ruined the best day of my life. I couldn't hear, the sound system's terrible. And to rent the Eightplex, you have to have in advance. I mean, one party I talked to, they only had it till Monday and they weren't getting married till this December. So,
If we may start our doing graduation parties, by the time we get in there, it's gonna be around that time.
right,
In graduation parties, people come and go, that you don't normally have. If you invited 200 people all there at the same time, if it's
Right.
noon to 4, I mean, people are kind of coming and going too, so.
I mean, I've heard rumors out there that that people already knew what we were gonna charge for memberships. It's never been discussed. So how would somebody know? But do you know that our occupancy is only 120?
That-
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I'm not
That's what
speaking
the
to
one
Phil. Do
wedding
you
said.
know?
no.
I haven't known.
This gym right here, I think is more than 120. I'm gonna tell you what, when I had my wedding here, my reception. We had probably 240 to 270.
We did too, but that doesn't mean it was passed by the fire marshal.
But I'm just saying Mankato Halls had more people coming and going, standing outside. You can't count people outside, even though they're part of the party, you can't, So I think until we get down that road, we're not gonna know until it's finished and the fire marshal comes in. And then we can say, okay, you got, just off the top of my head, yeah,
I mean, I think it was said at one time that it was gonna be, but I don't know that. That was ever the apparently it's never been the finalization.
right, and so you look at it and say, okay, you got 5,000 square feet. Or 7,000 square feet, this is 6,000 square feet. So you're looking at it going, wow, if we can hold 200 and something here. And you got. Say 12,000 square feet up there. How much is it gonna be?
Yeah, I think there's variability, how many entrances there
Mhm.
is, such like that.
Yeah.
But for instance, I don't know this person who says that they've already canceled their wedding if we had designed it to hold 200, okay, that would have cost millions more, but we still would have lost the people who wanted a wedding of 220. We wouldn't be able to do them. And then if we designed it for a wedding of 225, we still would have lost the people who want a wedding of 300. You're always going to have a structure that's not going to be big enough for somebody who wants, what if somebody wants a 500-person wedding? Should we have designed a building for 500? That would have used all our money. So unless we rent out the gym, but I don't think the gym is going to be that much more capacity.
Well, and do we want a wedding party with beer and all that kind of stuff on our gym floor?
And the shoes.
Yeah,
He
the
just
shoes.
said no
So we
shoes.
might, that's why I'm asking.
You know, if
But-
the total square footage we're building is around 50,000 square foot, you can, and we're spending $11.5 million to do that. You can factor in how much it costs per square foot to that what we've done. But the left side of the building, the senior sec cost more to build because it had all the kitchen appliances it had. So the actual cost to build that portion was less than the portion, the gymnasium, for instance.
You know, you look at the eightplex and off the top of my head, if I remember right, it was right around 5,500, but between 4,000 and 7,500 to rent the eightplex for a wedding. $5,000 isn't out of the question anymore to rent a building for a wedding. They have absolutely skyrocketed. So
Could we have the fire guy go to the new building and
not till
so
it's
that we
done,
know?
not till it's done.
He can't measure that kitchen and, or that dining area before it's done? It's more than just measuring it though.
He's got to go by state regulations.
Right, that's what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
until it's
How do we
done-
find this out?
Well, as Dr. Churig indicated too, there's such things as exits and, you know, is there a single exit so everybody would have to go out the same door? Or are there multiple? I think perhaps Phil's approach of, for that part, wait until we're in and functioning. And I think your comment about acoustical is excellent because you're right. I mean, we've all been to an affair of one sort or another that the audio system was like, oh. You know, what did they say? Oh, I couldn't understand them, or
I've been to the eightplex. And I was only here to the equipment away from the speakers and I'm like, and it was a toast to the bride and the groom and I'm like,
what'd they say?
okay. I wait for everybody to applaud and I applaud or everybody, you know.
was nice.
they
The,
start
the
laughing.
type of flooring makes a difference also. A hard floor that's
Was all discussed when the plan was laying out there, wasn't it?
correct.
I
but-
remember discussing all this.
But for instance,
Yeah.
about the flooring, if you went with a carpeted flooring in that dining room, it would be more noise deadening.
Mm,
A hard floor that's easier to clean is going to be more noise. So, you know,
Well, I do
those
think
were the
that
trade-offs.
We discussed all that. We discussed putting stuff on the walls and whatever.
Did you have in your mind that you thought it was $7,500 to rent the eightplex for a wedding?
I didn't say anything about
No, I
that.
know, but I'm just saying, we don't know what they charge. I mean, do we charge?
I don't know what they charge. I have no idea.
I do. Like I said, $5,000 isn't out of the question for their weddings.
I'm talking about our building.
Mhm, but we don't know
I'm
until
just
we get in.
asking if it was going to hold 120 people like I heard.
I
That
don't
was my
know.
question.
Yeah, I don't know if that room, if you just plop that room down somewhere, maybe just by the square footage, somebody would say that's all what it.
Yeah.
But when you factor in the number of exits and you know, that dining room has 4 different exits. It's got 2 outside. You could go through an exit going through the garage if you had to, and then you could go out the front door if you had to. All that might make a difference, so we just might not know. I mean, Andy has never come down and told me 120 to my face. What I have heard is that it might be 150, it might be 170. I just don't know.
I don't know either, but that's what I'm asking. If we know, and when can we find out, I guess.
Yeah.
We have to, we're in it, I'm gonna guess.
well, I think moving back and focusing on the membership costs at this point
Mhm. I think that's,
is where we need to go.
I think once we're in,
Yet to be determined. The others are yet to be determined.
our next meeting will be March and the fourth Tuesday of March, and we may be in, we may not.
If we could work between now and March and reaching out to some venues, get some prices on whether it's weddings, graduation parties, birthday parties, if places go by the area of the room they're renting, or maybe they go by the amount of people, or, but I'll work on that for the next month and hopefully we can get some.
Okay. So back to the prices of the memberships, being that we've already went off well, are we okay with what this is presented, and are we okay with the 30-day promotional? And are we okay with the age limit under 12, age 12 to 16, over 16? We are going to really stress that misuse of the property or fraud membership card, key cards. We're really gonna stress zero tolerance. It will only take once or twice before the word gets out in Alcona County.
I think that brief addition on item 3 of number 7 under the kids policy and the termination of membership. I think that needs to be stated would be from my perspective, for a 1-year termination. You're not gonna kick them out for forever. They are going to learn if you suspend them for 1 year and then let them rejoin.
I'd be more likely to say you're permanently terminated, but we'll revisit it a year from now. Or you can apply for remembership in a year.
Statement.
But what are you
I
gonna
c-
find out in 6 months or a
You're
year?
not going to find anything out. They're going to realize, darn, I wish I
Right.
could go to the gym.
That's what I
It's-
mean, though, instead of revisiting it. What are you gonna find out? They haven't been there for a year, so you don't know that they're behaving themselves in there. If they haven't been there, they can't do anything wrong. Would we
And-
find out
I don't
anything?
think that's his point.
And you can also make it that you terminate the membership, but they're still allowed to come in on a day pass, which would be,
Oh,
they can still come in on a day pass, but,
oh.
or you could make it, look, you're caught fraud once, you're out, you know. That's the kind of thing that we need to discuss. I mean, I rather err on the side of being overly firm than too lenient, you know, a slap on the wrist. I'd rather slap you on the head.
Slap on the hands over and over. No, wrist slap, no. You have to be firm. We have to set the guidelines, and this is it. You violated it and you're suspended, you know? And I would entertain if we suspend somebody, that they come in front of the board and, you know, and ask for
Forgiveness.
reinstatement. And no, seriously,
No,
Um,
it's a good point. Bill.
you know, they come in front of here and we're all sitting here going, yeah, we know what you did, you know, and you're staring at them and they got to apologize and guarantee it will never happen again. And then we could take into consideration as a board to reinstate their membership. Or we can say, no, it was bad enough where, no, we watched the tapes and you've done this like 4 or 5 times before you got caught. I could understand that part of it, you know, instead of saying you're out for a year, we would entertain you to come in front of the board and explain why you did it and ask to be reinstated. I don't have anything against that.
I have another question on the family membership. Let's say Judy and George has a membership, or they each get a membership, and I'm family. Can the
Are you
3 of
living-
us get a
Are you
family
living in the
membership?
same home? Do you have the same
Live in the
address
same residence.
on your driver's license?
Okay,
Immediate family in the same residence.
okay.
That was one thing we took into consideration when we were doing that you're not gonna be able to ask.
Now,
mom and
if you
dad
lived
for
in their
the-
home,
That's a good
if you had a
idea.
mother-in-law suite or something, sorry about that. Jim.
There's advantages now. No, yeah.
I kind of like that idea.
If you live in the home, you convince them of that, then yes, you would be part of the family unit.
Okay,
So that proof of residency is not just, are you in Alcona County, but what's your physical address? So that, you know, the people in a family membership can't be this guy here in Alcona and this guy here in Alcona and this guy in Alcona. It's got to be 3 people in Alcona in the same residence.
okay.
And you have to be not just a taxpayer of Alcona County, you have to show your address where you are living. So if you're in Detroit and you have property up here, don't make you a resident. You have to be a resident living up here. So whatever your driver's license says, if it says you're living up here, then that's good, but if it says Detroit, no, I'm sorry, you're not non-resident.
Okay, so how about the hours? And this is just a start. I mean, some of this stuff would be for that website people to just at least to get started on making stuff. How do we feel about these prices? Now, 6 a.m., somebody comes in with the key card. We don't expect to have to be staffed every single hour that this place is open. That would be 104 hours that we would have to have a staff member here. The cost prohibitive. No, maybe down the road, maybe it could be done. But if maybe we have staff or even 2 people from 9 a.m. to 5, let's say, and the other hours, you're able to enter with your key card. How do people feel about these hours?
I like the hours, except for we just have to add subject to change. There again, goes back to the people running it, if there's nobody here from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, there's no sense of being open at 10 o'clock. So we put a notice on the website that hours are changing starting next week or, whatever, till 6 o'clock, from 6 to 6. Because lack of use, the lights, the heat, the staff, I would leave that up to.
Hours may be flexible, consult website.
Correct. Yeah, something on that, yeah.
You wanna start with-
There was a girl right before I started that was here Saturdays and Sundays for 8 hours a day for those 2 days, and we got between 0 and 2 people.
Yeah.
That came in. I mean, and we were paying their salary to do that.
Per
Six,
hour.
Yeah.
Yeah,
6 to 9 to start or 6 to 8?
recommend 6 to 9 due to the fact that we're getting into the summer hours. It's gonna be daylight at 9 o'clock, yeah, so
Yeah, I
people.
was gonna say, it'll still be daylight at 9.
In winter, it might go down.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're gonna say, how about the Sunday hours?
Sunday at 8, so.
8 is good, because most people go to church in the morning, they're probably,
Noon to 8.
Subject to change.
subject to change, yeah.
Now, do we have to
If
have a,
people start coming and saying, I really want to, well, play pickleball, we like to play pickleball, maybe they don't go to church, maybe they go to church on Saturday night or something.
Right.
There's a group of us, there's 20 of us that wanna play pickleball at 9 o'clock on Sunday morning, I mean, if people start coming to me and saying that, or we want a men's basketball league, but we don't wanna start till 8 o'clock at night, can we be here from 8 to 10 or something? I mean, those things we can make exceptions for too, if they have a membership.
Mhm.
Because I think if it's like some of the other places I've worked that have had key cards, you can individually put the doors that these people can come in, it depends how extensive our thing is, and you can put the hours, like, like Larry has a team of pickleball people. Maybe there's 10 of them that come in on Sundays at 9, so their key cards will let them in at 9, but not anybody else. I don't know how the key cards are gonna be set up, but
do you have to have somebody, a staff member present when all these people are coming and going?
No,
You don't have to?
No.
What if somebody has a heart attack? Is that what that paper they sign, that's to take care of any emergency or yeah? Is that,
and if they're playing basketball, you're gonna designate it out to a certain individual who's responsible for all activities during the times that they're there. So let's just use the guy I know real well, Chris Summers, is highly basketball oriented, and they play at the gym and in the Baptist church. Okay, Chris, you might have 13 guys coming, their names, and Chris says, yep, I'm responsible for everybody that's here. I will make sure the doors are locked. I will make sure that it's swept afterwards. I will go back and check the locker rooms to make sure their toilets are flush, the paper towel is not all over. He's gonna have to accept the responsibility as an adult to take charge of if he's gonna rent it. or if
That
he's
goes
gonna
to
use it.
number 12.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Okay, how about these rates? Oh, promotional, you want to make 30 days?
I think 30.
Yeah, I think so. What does the other, everybody think?
People
While
will
knowing
call
it
and
might
tell
be
us that.
extended.
Right.
How about these membership costs? Now, you're juggling. If we doubled everything, okay, then we know we're gonna meet every single one of our bills and more. If people pay that, but if the higher you raise rates, the more likely you're not gonna have people pay.
I like
So-
these as promotional rates in the first day, they up by $5 all the way around the board, except for the Alcona senior one.
Right.
Length of membership,
1 month or 6 months. Your choice.
I'm going to say, these are
I
all
say
three.
1 month or 6 months.
I-
And if you want to pay for 12 months, we'll accept it.
Okay.
But we're not gonna advertise.
Yeah, if an out-of-county family wants to pay $480 for a whole year,
Take it.
we grab that. But here again, I just broke these down into the cost per year. Obviously, 6 months, it's half that.
Right.
But, so the highest rate we have right now is $40 a month. The lowest rate, which is Alcona Seniors, is $15 a month,
And after the
30
promotional,
days.
it'll be $45.
Everything goes up except Alcona Seniors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Membership requirements, anybody see anything? I mean, this is the actual form that people are gonna have to fill out is going to be quite elaborate. I've seen it on, Macomb Township, but this is the general kind of things.
Right.
Proof of residency, we're not gonna accept a tax form. You have to be residing in Alcona County.
Correct.
And to have a family membership, we talked about that before, you have to add the same address. Day use family passes, how do we feel about that? 5, 10, and 20?
5, 10, and 20, I think is easier for the bookkeeper.
Now, I have a question. Are we going to want to start like a folder for each individual person, make copies of their driver's license, and have like their emergency contact, and then we can have the receipts from paying? I mean, kind of just have each person or family have their own file.
I think it's all gonna be digital, number one. They might fill something out, but then it should be scanned in, it should be digital, for sure. It depends on if our website if we can sign stuff, if people can sign up filling out a application online also, it might save it that way, and then they just have to come in and get the card and have. So I think some of that remains to be seen, but yeah, everybody's going to have documentation of address, residency, waiver. Everybody's gonna have to sign a waiver. Everybody's gonna have to sign knowing if you commit fraud and give your card to somebody else that you're out, so everybody is going to have to sign that.
Excuse a second.
The
I went over all that anyway.
Yeah, the kids policy is, I just want to make sure everybody's in agreement that you cannot not have children in any of these facilities. You can't not have children here. The kids will be using these facilities. Now, luckily, most of the time they'll be using them will be maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon till 5 o'clock. Okay. At which time we're for certain going to have staff available at that time. But if we make children under 12, you have to have an adult or parent guardian at all times with them.
I think that should be 10.
Say that again.
I think it should be 10.
So Carolyn says it should be 10. The Macomb Township, it was 11. So I just picked 12 out of my hat. And
And then the second part would be age 10 to 14. Just have somebody in, that you could turn to in the building.
and then how about 14 and up? 14 and up, no supervision required?
Oh, I don't like that, but
That's what we need.
Well, but then we have I think if let's say we've got a 15-year-old and they're really just not being reasonable about whatever it may be. Their language, their use of the equipment, whatever. They get a call, whoever is the holder of that membership, because it won't be them, they're a minor, gets a call and says, this happened. We want you to be aware of it. If it continues, they will be asked to leave for a year.
so basically then we're gonna be babysitters, spending half of our time calling parents if
No.
they're out of control.
No, once it happened, not once, but the second or third time it happens, the kids will shape up. Most of all, there's gonna be one or two that are gonna,
But having to do that, babysit and make phone calls is gonna take away from.
but that's why we will have somebody who is for lack of a better word, a manager of that part of the facility. They're the ones gonna have to call. You're not going to.
Phil, we're debating the kids policy, changing all three numbers to be, the first one is under age 10, has to be supervised. And then number 2 would be 10 through 14, that your parent must be in the building, but not necessarily directly supervising. And then 14 and above for no supervision required. That's what Wendy and Carolyn are discussing right now.
On the 14 and above, I'm kind of against that. I really like that 16 years old, you're more mature than, well, supposedly more mature than a 14-year-old.
Okay, you got some 20-year-olds that aren't, and never will be.
There again, they're not any better than 16 sometimes, but, I like the 16 for no supervision due to the fact that 14-year-old can't drive his little brother to the center, and 16, you're able to drive, you get a driver's license. You're a little more responsible in the parent's eyes. I like 16. I think it's 10 to 16 or 10 to 14 would be okay, but if we go 14, that's totally up to the board.
I do think we need to at least lower that early stage to 10, because they can go play on the pinball while mom is doing her thing, her yoga thing or whatever.
Right.
That wouldn't be allowed as current. As right now, if you lower number 1 to under 10, that must be supervised by an adult parent guardian at all
Oh,
times.
that's right. It would.
So 10 to 14 and then over 14, not supervised.
So let's look at it this way. What are people going to complain about? They're going to complain that they can't send their kids in. This is some people are going to complain that they can't drop their kids off and they can leave them unattended, and we should be watching them. We should have staff that's watching them. We all disagree that's not going to work.
Correct.
We don't have the funds to do that.
And
Down the road, is that possibility? If we sold double the amount of memberships, maybe you keep somebody in here all the time, all 104 hours. Maybe you got 2 people in here, but not to begin with.
But not for that purpose, because this is never going to be a babysitting service.
Correct, not a daycare.
No. So no matter what, we are not, I think somewheres in this membership thing, that family membership, not the others, but the family membership, that maybe we should have a statement, children or under whatever age, or just say children, that are abusing the system, I don't like the word misbehaving, but will the membership owner will be notified.
And I don't like to deal with, it says over 14, but I don't like to deal with 16-year-olds. Can bring their brothers in, but they're a little more, they can be considered as a guardian. 14, I really don't think you're considered a guardian.
I think you're probably right.
Well, I don't have a problem with the lowering the number one underage to underage 10. I do like the over 16 to have no supervision, that you have to be over 16.
I will withdraw mine.
Yeah, I like 16. I just think that
So
you're,
it reads underage 10, and then it reads 10 to 16, and then it reads over 16.
10 to 16. The second one, 10 to 16. Yeah,
Yep.
I like that too.
All right, so now the question is though, when we have right now an adult or parent guardian. So let's say I have 2 kids and Dolores has 2 kids. And they're both in that range. If Dolores signs a sheet saying that I can supervise her children, can I be the parent that's on hand to supervise not only my 2, but her 2?
We need another word in there, parent guardian /
Friend.
yeah. in
It's like
essence,
an
that's what I mean.
authorized personnel, an
Yeah.
authorized,
Or otherwise authorized.
how about an older brother?
Yeah.
A 16-year-old older brother, is that enough to watch a 10-year-old?
If you put the clause in that owner of the membership will be notified, then yes, I think so. Give the kid a little faith. Because
Okay, so there's just another, and that's my point. It doesn't have to necessarily be a parent or guardian. The guardian would,
Mother.
yeah, guardian would qualify as just anybody who has been authorized to watch them by the parent or guardian.
Adult supervision,
Adult supervision, that works.
some type of.
But is
adult-
a 16-year-old considered an adult?
well,
Yeah, because we're letting them come in and
Yeah.
Okay.
so if
Free reign.
16-year-old maybe brought his 10-year-old brother in there,
He's got to stay there and watch
you
him.
gotta stay there. I mean, I don't think he should
They could-
be,
but they could both play basketball.
well, right, they could be playing, but I don't think the he should be in the fitness room working out and the 10-year-old's running wild all over the place.
Agreed.
I mean,
So this language, we're just gonna change this, must be supervised by an adult, must be under an adult supervision
yeah.
at all times, under age 10.
Yeah.
Age 10 to 16 must have adult supervision in the building, but not necessarily directly. And then over 16, no supervision required.
I like the wording on number 2, 10 to 16, parent guardian.
All right, so 10 to 16 and over 16. Or-
Over 16, no requires.
Everybody good with that? Under 10, somebody watching them all time. 10 to 16, somebody in the building.
Parent guardian.
No, that's what we're changing. Does it
Yeah.
have to be a parent guardian or can it just be an authorized adult supervisor?
Authorized
Yeah.
adult supervised.
Think so?
Because what if
Thank you.
it's me watching
My kid.
grandkids or his kids or her kids, or I can be in there and watch
Okay.
my grandson, plus I can watch my neighbor's grandson.
If you've been
Right.
authorized to.
Yeah.
We have to have
Do we have to
authorization.
have written authorization?
I don't know.
No.
So, like, for instance, the game room. Say, my grandkids came to visit, and Dolores was like, oh, I'll take them to the game room for an hour. Will she have to have adult supervision since I'm giving her?
Dolores needs adult
Yeah.
supervision.
Still,
But I mean,
he's old enough.
would she have to sign something?
No,
Okay.
I think we're making work for ourselves.
Yeah, that's what I would think too. Like, if I just say, hey, Dolores, do you wanna take the girls for an hour? And she says, yeah, I'll take them to the game room. So
Exactly.
As long as they're with
Adult-
an
adult
adult and
supervision.
she's
Yeah.
in
All right.
that game room because they're both under 10.
So
She
under
might
number
be
three,
able To go work out or go play pickleball while 2 6 and an 8-year-old are off in the game room.
so under number three, where it says abuse, that we're probably gonna have a form that's half a page long that
Mhm.
lists all the, don't do this, don't do that. So that's just my, okay, bungalow renters pay the same price as everyone else?
Mhm.
We're good on that?
Yep.
How about the ACCOA employees? Give them 50% discount?
As long as it's clear that it's their discount, it is not applicable to their family.
Must be an employee, yeah.
And membership do not include the cost of any classes if somebody wants to take a yoga or whatever. How about this, that if you don't need to have a membership or a daily pass to come in and take that class?
I think that's good.
Cause they will have already paid the class instructor. Then the instructor will be renting the space from us, so I don't think they would have to pay anything.
It would be
extra.
double dipping. Yeah.
Right, right. So if there's like a Tai Chi class and it's 6 weeks, I'm charging Carolyn $50 a week to teach the class, to rent the yoga space. They're paying the instructor however much she charges
Exactly.
to do the class.
Exactly.
Okay, so 11 and 12. Let's talk about that right now. Well, let me move to one other thing. The Aplex, for instance, in order to use the pickleball courts, you have to have a specific membership, which is cheaper than their regular membership, and you have to pay every day you use pickleball. The way we have this set up right now, we're not charging somebody specifically to play pickleball. They either have a membership that includes everything or we have a day pass, which includes everything. We're not charging people extra to use pickleball. Any
Or to do
problem?
basketball or
I would think
The
I
gym?
would think we have to I would think we have to charge for court usage. I think pickleball would have to, if they're a membership, they're getting in, they can use everything. But if they want to rent the court for an hour where nobody else can use it,
then there's a charge,
then there's a charge.
extra charge. Yeah.
Well, but what do you mean rent? I mean, if,
$7 an hour.
Reserved. It's reserved from 2 to 3 for myself and a friend to play pickleball, which would be funny.
well, I certainly think somebody should pay if they specifically reserve it for that
Exactly.
reason.
Mhm.
Or
But if
I-
they're just showing up with the 2 people just showing up to play pickleball, and there's not people using the
sure.
pickleball courts, because
Oh.
that's separate,
absolutely.
do
Or
they have
if
to
I-
pay?
No, but if I go and I wait in line, I don't have a reservation, and I just wait in line for my turn, then there's no extra cost.
That's how we have it set up now, but
Correct.
that's different from Aplex. Aplex, if you go in, you have to have a membership and you play for pickleball.
So we're different than the.
We're a little different. Everybody okay with that?
I would like,
The pickleball courts though will need a time limit on them, like you can't play more than an hour or 2 hours, because some people will come in and if they're a member, they might come in and if they're playing, play forever. I think the Aplex is $6 per hour.
think
If-
that-
2
If you
hours.
said
But they have it kind of, their various levels of expertise are broken up. Like they'll have a expert time that they have put on their calendar, much like I'm sure you guys will, that like 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock every Wednesday night are men experts. Okay, and that's on their schedule. And then at such and such a time, it's anybody can come, men, women, any levels, all levels. That you'll probably have various times, and then you'll have just open times.
Quick question, can we get a form from the Aplex and adopt that to our pickleball courts?
But if I may, Phil, if you
let's put a limit, 1 hour, 2 hour limit. I'm not a play it, so I don't know what would be appropriate, but let's say a 1 hour limit. Oh, there's nobody waiting in line, so we can play again for an hour.
Correct.
If there's somebody waiting in line, you give it up for an hour. If there's nobody else but one couple in this line, then you just go right behind them. They play their hour and then you get a get.
And I think most people are gonna know that.
Right.
Yeah. That's kind of just standard etiquette, that you don't just manipulate, you play your game. Once your game's over, if there's somebody, it's like pool. I mean, you know, whoever's got their quarter on the table plays the next game. You don't have somebody just playing for forever. So I
Can't we
think,
have like some rules on the wall, different rules when you're, play for 1 hour, when your game is over, please allow the next people to do
yeah,
it.
we
or-
probably will have
And it's
something
in line.
like that. Yeah.
Nobody's in line.
But the whole matter is that, do we want to charge an extra fee for people to play pickleball? Or do we consider that part of either their membership or their daily pass?
I would think you're gonna run into an issue if we don't do a reservation type deal, $5 an hour for pickleball. You call in, I want a court from 12 to 1. There's gonna be 4 of us, $5 an hour. I mean,
Per person or?
yeah, usually, isn't it, per person? Wendy?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think if somebody wants to reserve it like that, yes, they do pay. But if we have from a section, a time period set aside for open pickleball, that people don't have to pay. I mean, that it's just, you're showing
Membership
up.
Should take care of that.
Correct.
Yeah,
That I agree. I think that if you're gonna buy a membership, you should be able to walk on that treadmill. You should be able to play basketball. You should be able to do the pickleball.
unless
If the people,
it's reserved
Correct,
a certain
correct.
time limit. If there's a reservation, they supersede.
if somebody has a
walking in.
group that contacts Wendy and says, look, we got a specific group from Lost Lake Woods. And we don't want people coming in from Oscoda at that time. We have our 12 people, we have our 12 people that we want to use these 3 courts. Then I think they should have to pay.
I think we'll have to have a calendar for pickleball.
Right.
Correct.
A schedule and let people know to call in advance to
Reserved.
reserve for pickleball.
would you do that for basketball also?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause I wouldn't want to be shooting the hoop and have 12 guys come in and say, get out of here. We're taking over. Then,
Like the game room, say somebody wants to have a birthday party and they wanna rent the conference room and the game room, we'll have to make sure we notify like the public or put a thing out that this room is reserved from 2 to 4 for a birthday party.
mhm,
I mean, I've seen that at different places too.
I have to.
Now, I will say about the pickleball, we would probably make money if we made more money if we made people pay in addition to their membership. And I think people would pay it.
I
Do
don't
we
see
want
anything-
to, though? I kind of look at it as like, hey, look, this is part of the whole thing. We don't want to double dip. We don't want to stick you an extra $2 or whatever. That's my opinion, but I think we would get it. I think if we made,
If you exercise to reserve your right to reserve the floor, there's a cost to it. I mean, now you're taking away members that want to come in and use it. So
correct.
you pay extra. We pay extra
Exactly.
for that. Yep, okay, you got the court
Exactly.
from
Could
1
they
to
get a pickleball membership? Maybe some of the people don't wanna use anything else. Maybe they
It's-
just want to do pickleball.
Our
If
prices
it's,
are low
our
enough that
prices are low enough, that's
you
a
get
good
the
thing.
whole Package or nothing.
I mean, if you're an Alcona senior, you live in Lost Lake Woods and you're a senior who wants to play pickleball, it's $15 a month. How many times have we charged Alpena Aplex's rate at $6? I mean, that's 3 times and you've already paid your membership, and we don't even require a separate pickleball membership like they do at Aplex. We're giving people a smoking hot deal.
Right. And I think.
I hope they appreciate it.
Like, when it would be more happy to pay the $6 here, cause I mean, from Lost Lake Woods, most of them go to the Aplex. It's 6 miles here versus 30 miles up there. So they're not only putting gas money and wear and tear, it's, you know, a lot
Time.
more convenient here.
I think if you reserve the courts, it's $5 or $6
per hour.
per hour
Per person.
per person. Is that what they charge?
I don't know.
Per person or court?
Per person.
They charge per person?
At Aplex?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I want to go, I pay $6. If Lisa goes with me, she pays $6. And that's with you. It's a 2-hour period,
2 hours.
generally, that they have open pickleball. I mean, we're giving people a smoking hot deal, really. And as long as we pay our bills, that's great. I'd like to keep the prices as low as everything.
Absolutely.
If we have setting aside money every year for maintenance and paying staff, the lower the price, the better. We're not trying to make a mint off this. We're just trying
So
to,
do we wanna go $3 an hour?
I'm sorry.
$6 for 2 or $3 for an hour, and then we'll get a calendar set up. There's 3 courts from what I understand, so we can have court 1, 2, 3. You know, I mean,
If somebody wants to reserve, yes, my opinion is right now that we try, pickleball is included in your membership. It's included in your daily pass, it's included in your membership, unless you want to specifically reserve a court at a certain time, then you're gonna pay. But everybody, it's part of your membership. That's how I would say, if it works that way. If we find out we're short on dollars, then we're gonna have to charge more.
But if you've got 3 different pickleball things, and this one's already rented out or whatever, and so is this one, but this one's free. So can I come in and do that one under
Yes.
my,
Yes.
Yeah.
okay,
so Carolyn doesn't want a membership. She'll never use any of the facilities, but she comes in 3 times a week to play pickleball. So for 2 hours. So then I charge her the $6
No.
each time she comes in.
No,
I tell her to buy
I
a
have
member,
to be a member.
buy a member.
That's not an option.
So you can't play pickleball unless you're a member.
Or buy a day
No.
pass.
No, what, no, let me, I think if Sam Smith has 6 people that all want to play pickleball, he reserves the room. They do not have to be members because the member is who reserved the court or courts.
If you're not a member, you pay a daily pass.
But I'm coming in on,
No, that would be like not living in the same address.
So my brother comes and stays with me for a week. He's not a member. He's not allowed to play pickleball if he wanted to play pickleball for $6 for 2 hours. He has to pay the daily pass and $6, or he
No,
can't play it
just
all
the
'cause
daily
he's not a
pass.
member. Can't
Just-
play it all because he's not a member.
yes,
Daily pass.
Daily pass.
Building. And then
and if the court's empty, it's his.
if it's reserved, he can't play from 1 to 2
Right,
because
right.
it's reserved. But if he wants to come into the center, he'd pay $5 for the
For the
daily
daily pass, and then if he wanted to reserve a court, it's $6 for the 2 hours. So
So
he
if he
pays
comes-
$11 to come in and play pickleball. for 2
He
hours.
wants to reserve it, but I mean, you know, if that person has to come in at this time and wants to make sure they can play, then they have to reserve it. The odds are, I mean, you've got 3 courts that are gonna be open 16 hours a day. People are gonna be able to find their time. I think if you want to play pickleball, you pay a membership fee or you pay a daily pass. And that's cheaper than Aplex, because if you went into the Aplex and wanted to play and you're out of the county, you're gonna have to pay more than $10. They're gonna say, not only you have to buy a membership to even get on the courts up there.
So, like her brother, he would be better off to buy a membership for $20 than to pay $5 for a week each day.
Oh, if he was here
For
for
a
a
week.
week, he might just pay a monthly,
Mhm.
if he's cheaper to pay the
Mhm.
monthly.
That's fine.
Correct.
So the only time we're gonna charge for the pickleball courts is if they're reserved.
Yeah, if you're
That's
specifically,
easiest. And how much would that be?
$3 for an hour, $6 for 2.
Okay,
right?
that's
For
whatever the
board,
board decides.
what was your recommendation?
That you said $3 for 1 hour and $6 for 2 hours?
No, that's way too cheap. If somebody wants the privilege of taking that court away from everybody else, no, they gotta pay more than that.
$5 an hour.
No, I still think that's
Can you
too
do a
cheap.
game, a pickleball game in an hour?
Oh, yeah, pickleball, might only last you 10 minutes a game.
Oh.
It might last you 5 minutes. Let's leave that open. I don't think it's gonna happen much, frankly. I don't think people are gonna wanna, I mean, I think you'll have people who say, look, I got a group of that are intermediate players. And we want to come in once in a week and play, intermediate players. I don't think you're going to charge them. I think you're just going to put them on the schedule and block that time
If
out.
it's blocked off, they get charged.
Well,
Reservation.
when I consider blocking off, that's a group that you know how many people are going to come. In this scenario, we as a group just say, look, we're going to open up pickleball at this 2-hour period twice a week for this level of player. And then this 2-hour period twice a week, we open it up for anybody, for instance. Well, it'd be more than that. I think that's different than saying I have a specific number of group from Lost Lake Woods that I've got 12 guys that I want to play with. I want to reserve the court. I think that's different than saying we're going to advertise intermediate level pickleball every Wednesday night from 6 to 8. The public is welcome.
would
I see
agree-
it a little
I would
different.
agree with that, because that's different.
That's how they do it at Aplex. I mean, there's certain nights that they play.
How many courts do they have?
They have at least 4 and usually 6.
Oh, so not that much different than ours. I mean, we've got 3.
No, 1, 2, yeah, at least 4 and sometimes 6, depending on whether they have the turf out.
We could have more too.
Yeah, but if you go to play there in an open pickleball time at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday night, you might play a game and then you might have to wait 15 minutes to play. I mean, they have so many more people playing than we're probably going to have because they're whatever their population is.
But a lot of people up there playing is from Alcona County.
I know we would, yeah.
And we have the portable courts too, so. that's what you need.
How about the bulk, number 11, bulk memberships?
I think we let that go for now.
Because here's the way I look at it. Let's say Alcona Community Schools. All right. What rate would you give them? How do you decide what the discounted rate is? Are you going to give them a better rate than Alcona seniors?
No,
Are we going to give them a better rate than Alcona non-seniors? Well, most of the teachers might be Alcona non-seniors. So do we give them less than $20 a month? Will we be giving them the same price as Alcona seniors? I mean, that's
think
my
we
question
have-
about discounting.
I think we asked that question of ourselves a year from now.
I mean, I can't imagine, and if the school wants to pay memberships, I think they're gonna look at these numbers and they're gonna gasp. They're gonna say, wow, we were prepared to pay twice this. I think you give a discount if you're high priced to begin with. I think we're so low priced.
So we can leave it like that, but if, let's just say this wants to come in front of the board and say, you know what, we're gonna sign up 30 members from our school, 30 employees. Can we get a 15% discount? But we're gonna guarantee you guys 30 members. And it may not be, we may not get 30 members if they don't, all the.
Well, and with those 30 members, because mom or dad is coming, mom or dad spouse is gonna wanna come and they're gonna have to buy a membership.
Correct, employees only.
I like that way of putting it, a percentage discount. You want to just leave it to our executive director to say, look, if she talks, to the school, that she has the ability to offer them a discount? I mean, do we want to?
Could we wait 6 months or 3 months and see if the school approaches us.
They have.
They already
They already
They have.
have?
They have,
And is that for general membership or is that for just using the gymnasium for basketball kids?
general membership.
General membership, separate from like renting, renting the gymnasium to have a volleyball team practice. That's gonna be a whole separate deal. If they say, look, we have middle school girls that want to play volleyball, we want to rent your court for an hour or two. That's a separate deal because we're taking that away from everybody else. That would be a separate rental,
So
in
like,
my opinion.
I have 50 employees that I wanna pay, they're all. I'm just gonna throw this out there, they're all, non-seniors Alcona County. He's gonna pay in one big lump sum for 6 months or whatever it may be. Then we could say, okay, if the total's $5,000, we're gonna give you 10% discount, or is that what you're kind of saying?
That's what I would consider a group of, that would be quite a lump sum in my category, anyway.
Doesn't it have to be a cohesive? It can't just be 10 people that get together and come and say, we want to do this, can it?
No,
Okay.
I would think it would have to be a business, like if
Okay,
Alcona
Okay.
Health Center came and said, I have 40 employees that are interested, what kind of discount can you give us?
yeah,
We'd say, this is what the total would be, you've got, 10 people that are over 60. You got this many that aren't seniors in the or that aren't Alcona residents, whatever. The total comes to $7,000. Then we could go back and say, well, we can give you a 10% discount on this. And then for 6 months, and then they relook at it 6 months later. Because they might not, say Dan had 50 employees that he paid for and they said they were gonna go. And he came back and said to me, are all my employees really coming here all the time? And I can look to see who's punched in and whatnot with their key card, and I can be like, Carolyn's been here once for 2 hours. Bob comes every day for 2 hours. Dolores, she's been here twice in the month. He might want to approach some people and say, I'm not paying a membership for you to go there for 1 hour a month. That would be his decision. So then
Yeah.
the next time it rolled around, maybe instead of having 50 employees, he had 47 or,
whatever.
yeah.
I think I agree with Bill. I like the idea of giving a slight percentage discount as long as they know it's not guaranteed after 6 months. Nothing is gonna be guaranteed to anybody after 6 months. But what if he says, look, I want to do it for a year and I'm willing to pay?
Well, I can tell you from experience, having your employees in some type of healthcare, exercise program, whatever, will give the employer also sometimes a break on their insurance that they
Yes,
pay for the employees. So some of these local places may jump on like, hey, we'll pay for our employees to do this, because they may get a 25 or 30% discount on what they're paying toward insurance for that employee.
and if you look at the total employee, individually, the total employee, it affects their attitude, their outlook, their job performance, their health attendance. It has a multiple elements that play into that just because they go to the gym once a week or twice a week.
The other thing is, like the shop I work at, Northern, they have, let's just say 25 employees. Is it gonna require 30 employees? I don't wanna separate that. I don't wanna deny them.
No,
If they come in and say, hey, we're gonna pay for our employees, we got 26 employees. Part of a benefit package for them, I think we should take it. I think we should
Absolutely.
give them a small discount. There again, it's gonna help on the health the insurance, it helps all the way around.
It does.
And same with Hillman Extrusion and Alcona Tool, and if we can promote our businesses in the area to join a membership for their employees to better their health conditions. And trust me, there's better health conditions, they should be using it. Just from experience, I'm one of those, but, so I really believe we should give them a percentage if they own a business and they're willing to.
I think
divvy
you're
up
right.
Are
for the
we,
folks.
are we talking, well, let's say, Brad Coles. And he says, I got 10 people that want a membership. And one of them is his son, Alex. Can Alex's wife also get in this group to get that discount?
Does she
No,
work for Kohl's?
No.
Then she can't get in.
Okay, so it's
It's
He gets,
employees.
only
he
the
pays the
employees.
regular rate.
Right. It would
Okay.
be their employee,
Okay,
the employee of the company.
I think mathematically, I'm using arbitrary figures, not these, but let's say that, it's $100 for a couple. But of that $100, one membership is being paid at 80% rather than 100%. So you would end up actually at $180, or I'm sorry, $90. So you take that partial off of the employee,
Mhm.
and then, but the other individual comes in as if they had a family membership or a couple membership.
So in the scenario that you just brought up with Brad Cole, give me the pros and cons. Why do we not if he wants to pay for a family, even though let's say the wife is one of his employees, but her husband and a child, if he wants to pay for it, why would we not take it?
Absolutely, if he's paying for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
I was thinking he was only paying for his employee.
oh, yeah,
But if
then,
he's paying for everybody,
okay.
go
so
for it.
are we gonna give, like, he's paying for his employees, of which Alex is one? Are we gonna give Alex's wife a discount also?
We'll
I
give
think
the
that would be
package.
up
If
to
he
the
buys, if he puts her in that package? If he,
No, I think that would be totally up to the employer. If the employer says, if Brad says, I have 10 employees that want to get a membership, I'm willing to pay the membership. If he says, I'm willing to pay a family membership, or I'm willing to pay, that would be up to him. Like,
Right.
if he wants to pay that for the whole family, I mean, I would think if he's paying for it, we could discount it. If Dan O'Connor says, I got 50 teachers that I'm strictly, or staff, I'm strictly only paying for them, then that's his decision. I think it would be up to the business, whether they want to pay family membership, spouse membership, whatever.
Of course.
If that person wants to pay, then
but what is that person paying though? Is he paying a discount on Alex's wife?
and what the total would be. After I would look at this and I'd be like, okay, Brad has 3 people that are Alcona seniors, he's got 6 people that are non-seniors, he's got 2 out of county. So then I'm gonna total up what the membership would be.
And then give him a
And then
discount
I'm
off of
gonna
that.
say, your total is $3,058. I'm gonna give you a 10% discount for 6 months. And then that's it.
I like that. I think
Okay.
personally, I think that's good business. If the more people you get, even if you have to take 10% off, it's going to help our bottom line.
Right, right.
Because if you don't, then you say, well, they're gonna sign up anyway. Maybe they won't.
Maybe they won't.
Maybe they won't. I think it's best to give a discount. Doesn't have to, I think 10% is a good discount. If let's say 10% for 20 employees, let's say. Dan O'Connor comes and he's got 300 employees, maybe give it a little bit bigger discount. I mean, you know what I mean? I think you can have a sliding scale
Right,
Me personally, I'd be pretty happy to have 300 people,
Oh, me too.
15% less on 300 people than to have to worry about how many membership. If we get those locked in. And I think you as executive director, if you got a live one like that, you sign them up for a year if they want to sign up for a year,
okay.
in my opinion. So how about that? Publicly, we're offering 6 months terms right now at the
Mhm.
promotional rate.
For a business, we can finagle.
If
things
somebody
a
wants to
little
pay
bit.
for a year and commit for a year,
I'm good with that.
how about the rental use of the facilities? My problem with setting a price right now is that none of us know how nice it's going to be. We hear Andy say it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be
Mhm.
state of the art, but right now we don't see that. We compare it. I can't see letting a group come in and use that and only get less than $100. I can't that wrap my mind around it. I'd feel like I'm undercutting Mankato Hall. If they're charging $375, how can I justify that we got all this government money to build this, and now we're gonna undercut you and take all your business because we're charging less? I would feel horrible like that.
I think we need to do more research and call around and
I do too.
call like Mankato, call the Aplex, call some of the event centers. Lost Lake Woods does a lot of I mean, we could get prices from them. They do proms, they do
Mhm.
class reunions, they do things like that, just see how much they charge for that, for that kind of stuff, how to rent.
They do weddings.
It's
Beautiful.
a lot of things there. I mean, not to take their business away, but just to kind of. They're in the same area, a 6 mile radius, I mean. Price wise, I would think. We would be kind of.
I think we can put that off till next month and.
Just do
call
a
around
little
and
more
check and
research.
see. We can hash it out all day, but we wouldn't come up with an answer
Yep.
yet.
No, I will need to have somebody start, and maybe even go into some of these places and. Get a list of things we're looking for, start going and talking to people and.
Dolores, Roland, we all good with this thus far?
Yeah, well, according to what they want would be the cost of the
Right,
rental.
right,
They might want to rent the gym and the cafeteria. Or the congregate meal area.
Right.
And the kitchen, or they might want to rent the game room and the gym. That would be game room so much, gym so much. Mm-hmm. Cause I think, cause I think Mankato Hall, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I will anyway. I think Mankato Hall has a certain fee for the hall. And then there's an additional cost if you're gonna use the kitchen. I think that's I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
It is. You're correct, Phil.
Okay.
and there's different things we have to follow, cause I've been talking with the health department too. When it comes to parties and serving food and. They can't make food and bring it into our kitchens, either have to be made in our kitchen or. A caterer has to bring stuff in and they don't even touch our kitchen. I mean, there's different rules that we have to follow, so.
Right, right.
there's-
So-
Yeah,
So I guess what we need is a motion to accept the recommendations by the board for the Sunrise Center, membership fees and rates and regulations.
Aren't we gonna do some more research?
Not
thought
for,
you
not
said-
for the memberships,
Oh,
No.
just for the rental of the hall. Of the rental of the
For the
kitchen, rental of the gym, rental of the. We're not renting none of that out. This is all just for memberships. The recommended membership fees by the board.
For the gym and fitness area.
Oh,
didn't we decide we're not gonna do the $3?
we did not. That was just their recommendation and we are not doing it as of right now. But really, Phil, we're just talking about the membership fees that we're doing right now. All the rest of this, we kind of agreed on.
Mhm.
But yeah, that is one question, Dolores, that whether we would eventually charge.
Down the
for-
road, we can decide that.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's definitely, I think we would make more money that way, but
I thought we mentioned, if they call for reservations. if
Correct.
We're gonna reserve it, then we're gonna charge them the fee.
correct.
Yeah, so that would be included, Dolores.
All right.
If
Okay.
you call to reserve the pickleball courts, you're gonna pay an extra fee.
You make motion.
Roland made the motion.
I'll second it.
Motion by Lynch, supported by Turk, to accept the recommendations from the board on the cost for memberships. And 1 month, 6 months, and 12 months, and all the language in the recommendation.
With some of the amendments I've made that we've
Right.
talked about.
Okay. All in favor?
Speak now or forever hold your peace. I mean, if we're discussing this is. All these things can be changed, but I mean, I want to make sure everybody feels comfortable. This is at least a starting point for
Yeah.
this.
So all in favor?
I would recommend it. Well,
Probably a roll call because we have money involved.
Okay, Turek, yes. Schlicker,
yes.
Potter,
Yes.
and Lynch.
Motion carried. Oh, we can move on to. well, what page is
Public
it?
comment.
Public comment.
Public comment, there it is. Okay. Public comment, Larry Diane, okay, we have no public comment. Director's additional comments and concerns.
I will say I brought up earlier that it's amazing to me that I heard that we had already decided on the price for memberships, that it was going to be $80 a person, things that no person could possibly know. Wendy, Phil, have we ever discussed this? No, it's never been discussed. People can go to our minutes, they can watch our videos, and yet I hear that it's completely. Now, if we wanted to not be transparent, we could have done all of this and it wouldn't be on video, and Wendy could have done it and whatever, and no one would ever know how the decision got made. Now they know how the decision got made. We took 4 people, condensed down 1,000 ideas into 10, and thus board took those 10 and reviewed them. So, but I have to laugh. I have to wonder if somebody's heard these rumors. I would look at that person and say, you know what, you were wrong. Where are you getting at? I would never believe a single thing that person ever said in their life.
I know that one couple, so I can personally ask them, where did you hear 120 people? I can ask them.
Well, as Andy was saying
And they
about,
went to the Aplex now.
well, as Andy was saying about, is the fire marshal going to consider the space of the gym into the whole calculations when you're having them?
Oh, yeah.
We have no idea.
I think at one time he did say the congregate area could hold 120 people.
I remember that. I remember something on that
Well,
area.
that's probably
Yeah.
where it came from then.
But
I
it's still up to the state fire marshal, I would believe, to have the guidelines that what
Right.
what we can house in there and what we can't. I mean, it's like the gymnasium, you're allowed to have I'm just guessing, 225 in the gym for a basketball game. Who's there clicking the clicker?
Right.
You have 260? Who's there clicking the clicker? Nobody.
Exactly.
So,
Got full fire suppression, state of the art, brand new construction. I think I'm gonna feel safer there for than I would be right here for.
so. I'm
That's
gonna take
just
a
me.
motion to adjourn. We have no other-
I have a
If we
couple
have
of
no other-
questions.
Okay, go ahead.
How are
Oh,
we
I-
coming on the lawsuit with Lenny?
I will say, I'll respond to that. The lawyer does not want us discussing it in that way. We just say it's just proceeding. The less we speak about that publicly, anytime they send an email to Wendy or myself, it's this, don't speak about that. So yeah, I would say that it's proper to say that depositions are being scheduled and things are being proceeding, but I wouldn't talk about anything more, and that's on our lawyers'
Okay.
recommendations.
I won't ask anything. Well, I will, but I don't think it'll hurt. Are we gonna have a say on the outcome? Let's say the insurance company says, we suggest you do this. Are we gonna have a say on, yes,
I
we
wouldn't
wanna do
even-
it,
I
or
wouldn't
no, we don't wanna do
I
it?
wouldn't
If you want them to
even-
pay for it, you have no voice. If you take it out of their hands, then you have a voice, but you also have a cost.
That's
So-
what most likely is going to happen. They are going to say, either we go to, well, I won't even say anymore. The
Right.
yes, we will have a say.
Bottom
I don't
line.
think we're supposed to be discussing at all.
Right,
And-
yeah, I wouldn't even want to discuss it, so.
No.
Well, that kind of money, now, just bring, make a motion to, appoint, well,
So I
I
think,
can't hear it, but
there's, oh, go ahead, Dolores, you have a couple more.
yeah, have we decided on the rent for the houses? I've had a few people say, what are you gonna charge?
$1,000.
It is gonna be 1,000,
$995 on promotion, yep,
$995?
yep.
And are we gonna have an open house when we get into the new building? Cause we don't wanna wait till the time comes and then have to plan an open house.
But
My
we can't plan
recommendation,
an op-
my recommendation is that you do a soft opening and then you have a formal
Okay.
a month or 6 weeks down the road.
After we're in there.
After you,
Yeah.
okay.
When
all
it's
the
not
construction
muddy
equipment's
and
done.
bad weather and such like that.
More summer, yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I'd like to see grass coming up and, you know, the hillsides with some trees and plants in there. Yeah.
So
So
I
it-
do have a couple quick things, pickleball boards, I contacted John Kuklowski, and he's willing to.
Cornhole, board,
Huh?
cornhole.
Cornhole boards, I'm sorry, cornhole boards, and he's willing to go around to some sponsors and seeing if they will buy cornhole boards with their advertisement on the side and ACCOA on the top of them for us. And would the board or would ACCOA like to purchase one for, you know, along with the other businesses? And they're gonna be he said he thinks they're gonna be about $150 for the set. And that comes with bags. I told him if the board didn't do it, I would do it for the board. I would.
that's
So-
insanely cheap, especially if the bags they're quality, they're
He said they
good
come with
bags.
the bag, so,
And I've had people asking if we're gonna have like cornhole and having a game room. I mean, I
Mhm.
think people would do cornhole leagues.
I do too.
I think we'd be fools if we didn't. The only thing I would say is, has Andy already factored that in? Is Andy already deciding to get 4 boards? I know it was talked about at one time, if he's buying basketballs and volleyballs and pickleball equipment, maybe he's got that budgeted.
No,
Where are you going to play it?
You can always use more
cornhole?
boards.
Probably the gym.
Mhm.
You got people walking on the floor with,
Gym shoes.
But how are you gonna tell somebody that lives in Hubbard Lake? Oh, he says, I forgot to bring my gym shoes.
Play in your socks.
Well,
No hard
But you
soles.
know, I went to a resort once that provided you, if you forgot shoes, they had extra shoes there. I mean, for a
yeah.
couple $100.
I'm gonna put somebody else.
No, they were brand new, beautiful
Well, but-
shoes. I mean, they factored that into their experience. I mean, who's to say that Andy hasn't already done that? Put
Can this be
couple
held in that game room thing?
No.
game room, I
Probably
don't
not.
know. There'll be
Probably not too
permanent.
many games,
Cornhole would be in the gymnasium.
because it'd be from wall to wall.
I think most people, when they're playing cornhole, they probably have. fun.
Yeah,
But.
yeah.
I guess I have a concern, like. I feel like we're getting this gym that we're not gonna be able to do things with because you can't, I mean. Why are we getting such an elaborate gym that we're not gonna really be able to use? If we're gonna have to
Okay.
be policing everybody that goes on it.
Personal experience, if there's 7 coats of finish on that floor, street shoes are not gonna hurt it. I mean, it's like, here, this is still shiny after 45 years. I don't think this has ever been refinished. And we've had weddings and receptions and stuff built. You've been here when stuff has been spilled.
Got
It was
50-year
refinished.
guarantee.
It was refinished.
One time maybe,
That's all I remember, but yes, it was refinished.
so down the road.
The floor's got a 50-year guarantee. I asked Andy that exact question. And he said, oh, no, it's got a 50-year guarantee. So I think there's, sometimes he's coming out of his mouth and what we're hearing, there's loss. No, it's going to be able to be
I
used.
think it's gonna be utilized. Okay, the cornhole boards, I talked to Sarah from Realty One. Definitely got the price. She has 2 people in Alcona County that she's already set up. They can't move in until May anyway. She asked me to ask the board, is it our wishes that right now we've got 2? Is it our wishes to go and start advertising outside the county? I told her, my opinion is yes. If we don't have more people in Alcona County that's needing a house,
I just sent her another application yesterday.
Is
That was Elkhorn County.
so.
I thought we had a list of like 20 people that wanted to rent.
Well.
Background checks and financial checks.
I was just gonna say, if by the time we did different facts and stuff, maybe maybe they moved somewhere else, or maybe they.
Or they can't afford it.
Maybe.
So
Yes,
I know a lot of places up in Alpena are paying $2,400 for an apartment. I mean,
Wow.
yeah,
I mean, it's hard to rent a place when people can't go and look at it. I mean, there's not that many photos of it. They can't go look at it. I mean, I'm not surprised that we haven't had people firm commitments yet.
but Andy did say that, when I talked to him before I talked to Sarah, that she's had appointments and brought them down and he's let her take them back there. So you can go back and look at them. You just can't drive in through the construction zone like Dolores without stopping and saying, I want to go back and check. He's gonna say no, still construction going on. But if Sarah says to Andy, I have 3 clients that I'm gonna go back and show the houses to on Wednesday, he's gonna make sure that Sarah can go back and show those houses on Wednesday. So, or whatever day. But she did ask me to ask the board, do you want her to start researching outside the county, reaching out to the other ACCOAs, Oscoda, Taos, Alpena, seeing if they have any clients that are in need of housing. And
How long have they been on the market? Actually been on the market?
since
At
the
that
last-
price, it couldn't have been more than a month or 2,
Yeah.
right?
I'm
At the
gonna
lower
say-
promo price.
No, I'm gonna say, when Pam and I and Leroy discussed it, that was back like in November.
The lower price?
Yep,
But when did she release that lower price?
same
I
day,
would say around.
same day.
Same time,
December.
okay.
I would say around
Well, you-
December.
I
So-
thought it was just last month that we talked about that,
Well, it
that we
probably was.
we decided to lower it last month at our meeting.
Yeah, because we didn't have a meeting in December.
I would say we didn't have a they had a board meeting and discussed it, and then.
We had a committee meeting.
Or a committee meeting, and then we didn't have a board meeting in December, and then it was brought up last month. But I
So it's-
remember
yeah,
you guys talking about
And
it.
I talked to Sarah and she said, okay, and I talked to her yesterday and she said, see if it's the board's wishes, which I think I'm in favor of reaching out and getting the houses
I think we should advertise in our local paper and on all this computer stuff locally, get that ball rolling right away. With
Has
the
it been?
price.
Has it been? I don't get the paper. I mean,
I don't get
It's not,
papers.
it has not been in the paper.
Paper.
Okay.
Nobody told
Is
them
it on our
to use
website?
paper, So.
But it wouldn't hurt to put it in the paper, wouldn't hurt to put it in on the website. It wouldn't hurt to get the word of mouth out there too. You know, that is $9.95 a month now. That's per house, right?
Yep,
No, it doesn't matter if there's two people in that house or just one, it's the same price, okay.
So they're 2 bedroom, 1 bath, they have a washer and dryer.
single car garage. Generator, central air. Lawn service included. Snow removal included, garbage service included.
why would somebody out of the county? I
They
mean,
they may have a parent that they're paying Alpena prices that they don't care where they're paying them right now. They want to make sure that, you know, let's say you're doing your parents and the only place you could put them in is an apartment in Alpena. So you put them in an apartment because they are elderly. So all of a sudden you can get a house in Alcona and you might be from, let's just say Tawas. But there's nothing down there and there's nothing here. So
Or Detroit, I mean, a lot of people live here now and their parents is still down.
I don't think it really matters. We were supposed to be in those houses in September, October. I mean, if we even had people in there in November, December, January, February, we've already lost $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. I mean,
I think
that
if
we
we,
could have had in a pot before we even moved.
that's
in.
true, but we've made interest on that money also. So, I mean,
So,
there's,
but I'm
but I
also.
mean, if we could get them rented, yeah, I mean.
I'm leaning towards, my own opinion is having her, you know, send it out to other counties. And if she gets 8 people, 10 people that want to rent them, then at least we know we have 10 people that rents them. If we wait for Alcona County seniors to say, no, I can't do it, then we turn down another residential.
I agree, but I would have liked to see more advertising here
would
local
too.
first.
I would suggest that you do at least a few weeks, if not the whole month of March, both in the local paper and on the website. And,
Facebook.
oh, okay, yeah.
Okay,
Spend
Then-
what you have to spend for at least a month to flood it out there that, hey, it's getting ready to open, you snap this up or you snooze, you lose. I'd be more comfortable if we gave it 1 month of really hitting the advertising
Okay.
before we open it up.
I'm okay with that. I just have to give something to Sarah.
Yeah, I could have Megan make up a flyer and we could get it on Facebook. I can have her send it to Cheryl and get it in the paper and.
With the new price, for sure. $9.95.
Did you want to thank Cheryl for putting that really nice
That was a very nice.
Yes, it was.
in the paper? It
I'm
was-
pretty good on that thing. I couldn't find a single thing that was grossly inaccurate or grossly misleading.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, that's a surprise.
Awesome. Article.
I thought it was too.
And I even got the Common Sense Award. I was gonna wear a thing today that said
Said what?
that I get the Common Sense Award. Andy put it in.
And you know, Andy might present you with that at the grand opening, for all we know.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn if there's no other comments from the director.
I'll make a motion that we adjourned.
Okay,
Second.
meeting adjourned at 1 o'clock. 12:57.